Hello everyone and welcome to the Into the ITaX Pro Circuit Group C. Now I could not be more excited for what we have in store for you all tonight. We have TY, we have Patience, we have Armani, but more importantly we have Parting, and we have one of the best rivalries thus far of 2020 in the potential for a Parting and TY rematch, as Parting attempts to take revenge on the grand finals of the GSL, or of the round of 4 of the GSL Season 1 of the GSL round of 8 from last night. Has he learned from the about the aggression that TY has put on? But you know, there are two other players in this matchup as well. We have Armani, the former Samsung B teamer, looking to make a name for himself here in the post-Kesper era, showing that, well, you know, it's one thing to make the jump from B teamer to an A teamer to someone who regularly competes. It's another to really reach those upper echelons, to crack through the round of 32 barrier, go to the round of 16, go to the round of 8, to really make a run at the title. And while he has done fairly well in the online cups, GSL style formats, things like this, that does get a little bit harder. And then we have Patience, one of the former kings of Protoss, one of the best Protosses in South Korea, falling on hard times, really not showing the performance that we have seen from him in previous years, looking to make a return to form. Well, those are the four players, and I could not be more excited to be able to talk about them tonight with all of you. Now, our first match of the night is going to be Patience versus TY. Now, TY having really shown some significant aggression in the TVP matchup, especially last night. Patience, I don't know a lot about Patience, about how he's playing or what he likes in the matchup, but it's going to be a good time. And now, before we get ready to get into the game, I should take the moment to point out that while there is about $1,000 of this tournament put up by ITaX, put up by the Into the Clan, put up by your various sponsors, there is definitely opportunity for that prize pool to get higher. So this tournament is actually sponsored or hosted on Matcherino in some way, shape, or form. And what that means is, even if you don't have any money, you can contribute to the tournament using the ITaX Pro Circuit 3 code available, and you just need to log in there, plug that code into the coupon code, and that contributes 50 cents to the tournament. And while that may not sound like a lot, 50 cents, oh, well, does it really matter? Well, if everyone that's watching tonight goes and contributes that, well, that's a significant bump in the prize pool. If you have any sort of money, well, that's nice too, but really, the benefits are the things that you can do for free. You can do the sponsor, you can do the survey quests that allow you to... Okay, so we're making the lobby. That allow you to put 20 cents, put 50 cents, put $1, whatever it is, towards the tournament prize pool. And some of these are really easy. It requires you to retweet ITaX. Well, that's easy. I did that anyways because I'm casting tonight. Some of them require you to take a 4-question survey about beef jerky. Have you ever heard of the brand? What would you prefer it chopped or in sticks, or would you prefer it sliced? Things like that. Really easy. And that gives 50 cents towards the prize pool. So that's a fun time. And you know, I should probably stop. Well, I should probably start talking about what we're going to get a little bit more now. As well, contribute to the tournament. It's a great time. Actually, if you contribute $10, they're selling the replay pack for about $10, and all of that money, all those $10 goes towards the prize pool. So unlike other things where you can buy an ITaX jersey and $10 of the $60 goes to the tournament, this is the full $10, and you get replay packs from players like TY, Parting, Innovation, top tier Koreans. All right, so as I talk about that, as I talk about how we can contribute to the tournament, we have our first lobby of the night. I believe so I've been following the picks and bans. Our map order will be Eternal Empire, Ice and Chrome, and then Death Aura. So Eternal Empire, one of the more defensive maps. There we go, getting all that set up. They tend to go late. It's easy for both players, or one player, should they want to force it that far, can really spread it into the mid game, spread it in the late game, really show what they can do. Now, that's not to say that TY can't go across the map and kill Patience in the first 5 minutes. Very possible. That's not to say Patience cannot do the same thing. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, we got to make it again. So it looks like it was on the thing. Looks like our admin does not have the new change yet, so we have to go out of party and go back in because the map was made on the Taiwanese server. And, well, Taiwan is not what these players want to play on. They would much rather play on Korea, as this is, well, they're all Korean players. So as we get ready to go into map number 1 here. So TY, SJSZ, there are 4 players playing this. It's a GSL style tournament. You can see them on to my right. Here we have TY versus Patience as our match number 1. Parting versus Armani will be map number 2. And from there, the winner of TY Patience will play the winner of Armani Parting. And that's going to be a good time. And here we are. You hear the countdown in my ear as we get ready to load into map number 1 of TY versus Patience. It's going to be, I could not be more excited for the quality, for the players we have tonight. And here we are. We are loading in. Hope everyone's having a good time having a good night because your night is just about to get better. Alrighty then, here we go. Map number 1 of the night, and spawning in the upper right, in the red, for Team LP, it is the Protoss Patience. And in the bottom left, in the blue, for the Afrika Freaks, the current reigning GSL champion, it is TY. Alrighty then. So, at this point, it's always interesting to talk about openers, but at the point that we have in the game here, there's not a lot new. We have both players doing your standard builds. We have a Reaper, what looks to be a Reaper expand, and there we go, gas going down from TY. On the other side of the map, we do have Patience going for gate expand, or what should be a gate expand. Now, the interesting thing here, of course, is he's not going for the Reaper wall that you would normally see. To say, hey, look, I don't want to get scouted. This is a bit more defensive. It says, hey, look, if you are actually going for some sort of Reaper aggression early, I have a bit more of a wall here. I can prevent you from running around. I can maybe trap your Reaper. There are things that I can do to be a bit more defensive that can happen. And TY has shown a proclivity for aggression a little bit in this matchup, at least in the last 2 weeks, as we saw in the parting matchup, as we've seen a little bit in the War Chest Team League, things like that. TY has said, I believe that the key to victory in this matchup in particular, at least against the type of players I play in Korea, is if I can go early and I can end the game really before it even begins. If I can Hellion drop, if I can do significant damage with my early aggression and really make it so the Protoss does not get to really do what he wants to do in the game, well, that makes it easy for me later on. Now, that's not to say that TY is going to showcase the type of builds we saw last night. It's not going to say he's going to showcase the builds we've seen in the Team League. But that is what makes this game so exciting. So we do have TY. He's going to scout in. He's going to see that there are, in fact, 2 gases here for Patience. He says, okay, look, well, you probably want to go for a little bit of tech early on. And there 2 gases as well for TY here, but a little bit slower. So, again, a little bit more of a macro focus, although I would not be surprised to see us go into 1-1-1 here. And there we go. It looks like he is going to go into Hellions after this, as he is getting that reactor down. And there we have the Reaper moving across the map, looking to see if he can get into the main base. And actually, the Adept, well timed. TY not even going to try with it. Well, he's going to try once, going to hop down, and says, no, not really worth it, and not really going to go dive into the natural either. Adept doing a good job of warding everything off. And behind this, we do have a Twilight Council coming down for Patience here. Now, there are really 3 avenues that players have been really taking. Thanks, Vespasian. There are three avenues that the Protoss players have been taking with this Twilight opener. Now, number 1, of course, is the build that we saw Parting do so much work in the GSL last season, where he goes for Blink, where he gets 3 to 4 gates, depending on how aggressive he wants to be, and he just puts aggression on the map. He says, look, if you cannot move out, I'm a whole lot less scared. The second avenue, of course, is what we saw in the GSL last night, where you go and you get a Dark Shrine. Although this looks like it's going to be the 3-gate Blink build more than anything else. But you do get the Dark Shrine. And you say, hey, I'm going to catch you off guard. Even if you have scans, I don't believe you're going to have enough scans, and I believe I should be able to get enough damage to maybe make something work. And the third one, of course, is the charge lot pressure / all-in that we've been seeing players like Estrella do, where you get charge first and you get about 8 gates and you just flood the map. You flood the map with zealots and you make life really rather difficult. But we don't really need to talk about those other two builds, at least not in this map, as we do have Patience going for the Blink build with 2 other gates on the way for a grand total of 3, as he looks. He's probably going to eventually get an expand behind this, as really 3 gates showcases a desire to expand. 4 gates is much more of a committed pressure that has to do something. We do have TY running across the map with his first Widowmine drop here, trying to see whether he can really take it to Patience even before Patience wants to move across the map himself. And there we do have the Widowmines running in for the first time, but the Stalkers are in excellent position, and the Widowmine, or the Medevac, will go down. Both. Ooh. Okay. So, how many Stalker probes was that? 1 probe going down, and that was a great response here from Patience. He gets the Medevac. He gets both Widowmines. He only loses 1 probe. If I'm Patience right now, I will absolutely take that. And we see him even now getting ready for the 3rd base behind it. Says, look, I warded off your pressure. It really didn't do anything to me. Now, I have the opportunity to go and really lean into you now with my Blink pressure. Blink is just about done. It's going to time up quite nicely. Or actually, there is no Warp Prism on the map at the moment. And this is really not even going to be that committed to pressure. This is more of the defensive Blink opening that Patience has elected to go for here. As he's just going to move 4 Stalkers across the map and move into Colossus behind this, it looks like. Just continuously moving observers out to make sure that any sort of drop will not happen. There we have a Hellion moving across the map here. Just really a scouting Hellion. There's not a whole lot that one Hellion can do. Even these sentries will be able to ward it off. And these 4 Stalkers, similarly, not really going to be able to get a whole lot done. Now behind this, we do have TY powering up on 2 bases. With a 3-1-1 opening, concussive shells on the way, stim on the way, and he looks like he wants to hit a rather powerful 2-base +1 timing here. And if you've been watching any scale of StarCraft, this is a scary push. All right, Terrans have been doing this quite a bit. Just move a bunch of stimmed bio across the map, see what you can get done. And actually, this push out is going to move and going to try to put aggression on even before that +1 is done. +1 is a nice add-on here. But stim and concussive shells are just about done. And really, Patience does not have enough on TY's side of the map to really ward things off. Right, so he's just going to have to run across the map with these 4 Stalkers and hope to hold with what he has at home. But with 1 Colossus out, another one on the way, I think he should be fine unless TY manages in some way to opposition him. Now, I should point out, of course, that there is a Raven with TY here. And what that Raven means is that 1 Colossus, well, it's going to effectively be 0 Colossi for this hold here, so the Raven can just disable it. Now, a little bit miss micro from the Stalkers here as they run down. They tank a lot of damage. They don't get anything in return. And now, actually, we do have this is timed up with 1-1. I was mistaken. And +1 attack is just about done in 14 seconds. And this is going to be an incredibly powerful timing here. Now, Patience, not really wanting to let TY get in a position here, is going to move out across the map, see what kind of damage you can get done. Now, TY taking setting up for an engagement here, going to get a Stalker, going to disable the first Colossus, but that's actually excellent for Patience here, as well. That would be excellent for Patience if he ran back. But even then, it looks like he's going to be able to force TY to pick up, and we transition onwards. Patience able to defend that first aggression. TY not really showing any desire to get a 3rd base at the moment. Oh, speak of the devil. 3rd base going down on location here, as he says, "Hey, look, it didn't quite do what I wanted. I didn't kill him, but I was able to do damage. I traded decently well, more or less, and I forced units out. So it's pressure. It's not the most incredible thing, but it's not the end of the world either. And we do have Patience going for a rather quick Dark Shrine. So you do see Dark Shrines in most matchups, most Protoss matchups in this day and age, but that's a late game tech. That is a, hey, I have a surplus of minerals, a surplus of gas. I'm on 4 to 5 bases. I'm going to get DT, I'm going to get Blink, and I'm just going to mass damage Chargeless, right? That's kind of how we've seen the meta of PvT and really PvZ in this matchup evolve. However, this is a Dark Shrine before 10 minutes. Dark Shrine before the fourth base is established. So that is, well, it's not quite as standard, but I guess Patience feels secure in the fact that he's on 70 workers, the fact that he really took minimal to no damage from that first push from TY, and he says, you know what? I'm happy. I have the tech I want. I'm powering up, and I think I can afford this because really I haven't taken any losses, so there's nothing I need to replenish. So we do have TY's main army moving across the map. Nothing really moving. Nothing. No counterattack being ready. And actually, Patience will spot that. Just send a probe across the probe from later on, I guess, across the map, trying to do things. Now we have two DTs rallied into the third base of TY as the Warp Prism looks like it wants to go probably into the main base. Now these DTs really should not get anything done. There's a missile turret actually behind the mineral, so that's smart from TY. And well, there's a tank here, so this should not get much done at all. What was that? One worker going down. Yeah, one worker for one Dark Templar is not the goal here. We do have another Dark Templar moving out, and the Warp Prism just sitting behind, saying, "Hey, I'm going to force you to keep something home by being here." And although I believe TY is acting like he's seen it, even though he does not see it at the moment. And now we have Patience double expanding behind this, as we really have seen the meta of PvT evolve. You almost see Protoss players as they move into the mid game, especially on these bigger maps. They almost play like a Zerg, where they're trying to sit 1 to 2, maybe even more expansions ahead of the Terran player, and just not even out trade, but out economy their opponent, trying to make it so that they can really just attack everywhere at once, bludgeon the Terran opponent until they die, which is really a change from the previous styles of PvT, especially where Patience was his best, right? Where it was just very much, I'm going to have a big army, and I'm going to win the fight, and I'm going to win the game. That is not how maps like Eternal Empire work. That is not how modern PvT works, especially not against a player like TY, who really has innovated this late game turtle macro, I'm going to get a bunch of tanks and you're just never going to be able to kill me style, as an answer to the hyper-aggressive Protoss style that we're really seeing it come out here. But in fairness, Patience has not really been showing that hyper-aggressive Protoss style. He's, in fact, at least as it appears, is taking advantage of the fact that, well, TY's only just now established his fourth base, and TY's ready to get a fifth. So now we have a one Dark Templar says, hey, look, you know, if you want to expand to this fifth base location, I'm going to make it rather hard for you here, as we do have a Zealot run by moving across the top edge of the map. We'll see if that is worth anything at all. And both players are approaching max. And now, with one thing you always have to take into account, right, is Patience is sitting at 95 workers, so his max is going to be a whole lot smaller than the max of TY. And that may come into account, but also, look at him. He's already building up a rather significant bank here. As we have the first engagement coming in. Couple SCVs for the Disruptor Ball, but that doesn't really matter here because TY has a massive army moving out of the fourth base, forcing a total recall from Patience, as Patience will lose his fifth base. And now TY is just going to run home. Recall is now done, but now on the other side of the map, we do have a fairly large Zealot run by, just killing a bunch of SCVs here. And Patience, he's sure he lost the base, but he is building two. He has 95 workers. He's doing fine. And now we do find TY down at 64 workers, which is kind of the bare minimum you really want to be at when dealing with late game Protoss here. So now Patience pushing in, but this is not a fight he can tank here, as these tanks are really just sieged up, especially with the EMPs there. And he does have advanced shockwave, so this is just not a fight that he can really hope to take here, especially sitting here down almost 40 army supply. Now there is a DT in the back lines, and that's doing good work. And it appears that TY is either out of scans or not interested in scanning at the moment, as we have another siege in. And this Disruptor Ball, it's got to be nice. Going to trade the kill of almost 2 tanks for 1 Disruptor, so that's not the end of the world, as more and more ghosts move in. Oh, these Disruptor Balls, though, my goodness! Getting 4 ghosts there. And that is rather good, because, again, ghosts and tanks are the power units here. The bio is just there to buffer, as we do have another DT run by moving in to the 5th base, or the 4th base of TY. And actually, wow, there's this one Dark Templar just sitting on the Terran army, getting good work done, even if the scan does eventually clean it up. And now, again, the economy here is massive for Patience. Now Patience looking to take the fight. Disruptor Roll is going to be able to take out most of the tanks, at least the tanks in the front line. And Patience taking an excellent fight here. Now finding himself almost even in army supply. Now that was a ill-advised blink forward, as there are still 2 tanks there. And yet there is another, this time, it's a couple stalkers flanking away at the SCVs from the high ground saying, look, if you're going to take that exposed expansion like that, I'm not going to let you mine from it. And now if we look at the income advantage here, Patience finds himself massively in that advantage. And if TY is unable to do what he wants to do in this game number 1, we will find him shortly out of this game as more disruptor balls go in, tanks go down, and now there's really nothing that TY can do to contest this army. Not with the 3 Colossi, not with the 2 disruptors, not down an upgrade. And Patience actually looking dominant in this game number 1 as he blinks onto the 4th base, kills that, and now what does TY have left in the tank in this game number 1? There are no tanks. The Liberators are not sieged, and now we have TY Patience storming into the natural. Now the Liberators are now sieged, which is going to force Patience back up, but still, damage is being done, even as the Dark Templars are cleaned up once again. And Patience really showing a mastery of late game PvT, especially into the style that Parting was unable to break in game number 1. Now we have TY knowing he's in dire straits, knowing his economy is nowhere near as good as Patience is, going for a rather massive Dune drop here onto the 6th base of Patience. However, the recall is being forced, the Disruptor Roll is going out immediately, and sure, maybe some of them won't go off, but this should be more than enough to kill the Terran player. And there we have it, Patience taking game number 1 in this best of 3. And Patience really showing some mastery here. I really consider myself impressed. TY, I would argue that the best PvT in the world right now belongs to Parting. Right? He killed Innovate. He killed Maru. He's killed other top tier Terran players, and Patience really just made that look easy. TY's push out, well, didn't really do a lot. It allowed TY Patience to double expand behind it. And, well, when you're going to get that far ahead of your opponent that early, when you're really not going to lose anything, you're not going to lose any of your power units, and your opponent is just going to stick on 2 bases for that long, well, there's got to be something that TY is going to be able to do to get back into this game. And as we go, we're ready for game number 2. We have a lobby. So we get ready to go into game number 2. Now the question here is TY going to go for that early aggression that he showed so much success with in the GSL last night? Hello, Vindicta. Is he going to really force us into another long game? I don't know. I'm excited to find out because we are loading into Ice and Chrome, and Ice and Chrome is one of the largest maps in the pool. It actually is the largest map in the pool. It's 16 bases. An incredible amount of chokes. It is hard for either player to really end the game here. So let's see what the players have in store as we load into game number 2. Alrighty then. Here we go. Spawning in the upper right. In the red, for Team LP out of China, it is Patience. And in the bottom left, in the blue, for the Afrika Freaks, it is TY. So, the question here is, how does TY respond? Now, I would argue that TY is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, players in preparation-based tournaments. When you have the time to scout your opponent, when you have the time to study them, learn about what type of build they're doing, learn exactly their proclivities, and really counter that. TY's builds, especially when he works with Special to figure out exactly how to punish things, well, that is a thing of beauty. That being said, while this is a GSL style tournament, and players did know in advance who their opponents were, well, this is a $1,200 prize pool tournament. The GSL is a $12,000+ prize pool tournament. And while I would expect TY to prepare for this like he would prepare for anything else, I got to imagine over the last couple weeks he has spent the majority of his time preparing for TY and not for Patience. So, with that being said, we do have TY showcasing a rather aggressive build here. So this is going to be proxy 2-Rax Reaper, I believe. I could always be wrong, but we do have the gas there, and the Marine is coming out of the main base, just making sure that any sort of scout will be warded out. And this is just going to be a faster Reaper. I believe I've seen him do this once before, and I'm incorrect. It's not the Reaper build that I've seen him do before. No, this is Concussive Shell Marauders, and if Patience does not really see that this is happening, well, this can definitely catch him off guard. Now, there is a probe moving into the bottom side of the map, and this probe will 100% scout this. Sure, I don't know if there's going to be enough time for anything to really go and cancel this, but if Patience knows that there are Concussive Shelled Marauders on the way, well, he's going to know how to defend it. So we have the probe going on. Now, TY will know that this probe scouted him. He is too good of a player to not see that move across his minimap, but we do have the first Marauder on the way as already, and he's just going to pool it. So sometimes you see players when they are getting ready to cheese something like this, well, excuse me, when they're going to cheese something like this, well, when it gets scouted, they just feel the need to go immediately. But TY is saying, you know what, I think I can hold this regardless, I think I can make this work, regardless of the fact that you've scouted it. Well, I'm going to wait till Concussive Shell. That is my win condition. There's no need for me to do it ahead of time. Actually, he's going to be able to tag this Adept immediately, and this first Adept should go down. But that's a great probe trap here from Patience as, well, that first Marauder is going to go down. And with the shield batter here and a second one on the way, I don't know how TY gets in. I don't know if he's really going to be able to break this here. Now, it looks like he just wants to go for pressure, as there is an SCV. Okay, SCV is actually just going to be sent home. As, well, there's no way a bunker... Okay. I was going to say there's no way a bunker gets set up, but now we do have a third Rax coming down from TY here. And Stim is on the way. So TY buckling down on this one base aggression says, hey, look, you know what? You thought I was cheesy. You thought I was a little cheesy. I'm about to get a lot cheesy. As I'm hoping that you go and you assume that you've held it, and you don't pay that much attention, and you macro too hard, and you get too greedy behind it, but that is not what Patience is doing. Already we have a Robo on the way. Already we have 3 shield batteries in the natural. And that, sure, there's only one pylon, but the second pylon is going down now. So it's not even like he's going to be able to depower the pylon and do things like that. As TY just sharks around the front, sees if he can fish anything out, but does not look like he will be able to do so. As Patience actually taking advantage of the fact that there is no natural for TY. He has no vision here. Dropping a proxy pylon down, it looks like he's going to want to maybe warp in just a Zealot, just an Adept, something in there to try to kill his Terran opponent's economy before anything really happens here. As now TY, Stim, 2/3 of the way done, just fishing, looking for any sort of army, and any sort of Adept, any sort of Stalker, any sort of Sentry to move out of the shield battery range so he can slow it and kill it. But that's not what's going to happen here, as Stim is just about done. And we do have masses of Marine Marauder hidden out of sight of Patience here. And there is the opportunity for TY to do something. Now, he's only up 3 army supply, but he has pulled the majority of his workers. What that means is, well, there's enough to buffer, and if you don't micro, and if our Protoss player does not quite micro quite properly, well, he's just going to try to kill the SCVs, and the Terran army will reign supreme. Now, Stim is done. SCVs are moving in, and this is it. Make or break time. So, TY going to stim in, going to be able to get pylon number 1, pylon number 2, going down. There are no shield batteries left, and now TY targeting down the first Immortal, targeting down anything that he can, and it looks like TY maybe is going to be able to break in here, but no, his army is evaporating, and with that, it looks like Patience is going to be able to go into the winners match as TY's army down in the tubes, and there we have it. GG, Patience taking it 2-0, and our first map of the into the Alpha X Group C in a surprise upset. And now we get ready to move into map number 2. So, Patience 2-0ing TY. That is a massive upset. And as Sushi does point out, this may be TY wanting to hide builds. This is a really cool tournament, and it has a fairly significant prize pool. However, there is a difference, again, between this tournament and the GSL, especially TY as the defending champion. He plays a rather dominant-looking stats in the round of 4. And I do not blame him in the slightest if he is just going to sit there and try, at the very least, to hide some builds, make it so it's possible, and maybe he just has confidence he'll be able to come out through losers. Yeah, I am incredibly excited for TY versus Stats. What is that? Is that next Friday night? Hopefully I'll be able to watch it, and I won't be in the car. All right, so welcome everyone. I hope everyone is having a great night, an excellent night. It is well, it's a great night to watch StarCraft, I will tell you that. TY showing some rather interesting builds in that game number 1. Just hiding some strats, but also doing some builds that really could catch Patience off guard. That game number 1, he had an opportunity. He just really was not able to make as much work with that 2 base aggression, with that 3 base aggression, as he would have liked, and Patience just macroed into the late game and killed him with the sheer weight of his SCV, or of his probe count. You know, talking about what stats is going to do against the Hellion builds. Yeah, this is true. But we're talking about what stats may do here. Honestly, I know glaive builds are really out of the meta. Hey, thanks for the sub, Pony. Thank you for supporting this tournament. Thank you for supporting the smaller tournament organizers. Although that being said, Alpha X is getting a little bit bigger, running all sorts of tournaments, and I could not be more happy to be working with them to commentate this group and potentially stuff in the future. So, thank you to everyone for showing up. It's a good time. So as we wait for, yeah, a small indie studio, no complaining. Oh wait, that's Valve. So as we wait for picks and bans to happen for our second match of the evening, as I believe they're going on right now, we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Parting versus Armani. Alright, well, that was the fastest break in existence, and I just showed you the same ad twice. Amazing, excellent, exciting. But what that means, of course, is we have players, and we have a lobby, and it looks like our players, after I was invited to the lobby and felt the need to get back, players are taking a 3-minute break, so I get to entertain you for the next however long it takes before we load it into the game number 1. So our map order will be Eternal Empire, game number 1 again. Submarine is game number 2, so we're going to see some rather interesting things here. Amani really likes his Link Floods, at least from what I've seen from watching some replays. And third map will be Everdream. So, well, that's what we're going to get here. I'm excited to see all the shenanigans we're going to get, especially out of a player like Parting. As that man is, well, that man does not play standard builds. Or at least, he plays builds that become the standard. But currently they're not. And yes, Marines are scary enough to slay BCs should they have the proper upgrades. Should there be enough of them, and should they stim properly. Parting says he is in fact always ready. He is born ready. Hello, Sasuke Uchiha SC2. I really hope I pronounced that. I am not a scion of the anime or the Japanese arts. That is for daggone sure. I am a scion of StarCraft, and I very much enjoy, well, talking about the game, and that's why I'm here, but also playing it, studying it, going to bed far too late because the GSL's on. Yeah, I've done that far too much. But, luckily enough, this tournament is at 10 o'clock Pacific time, which means I can cast it, and I'm not going until 5 a.m., going until 7 a.m., really having to pull an all-nighter, so that's an excellent time. Yes, you know, Captain Club, I respect your opinion. Marines are an excellent unit. At the level we're playing at here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, you did not. But yes, at the level players are playing at here, maxing out on Marines, it's not really going to cut it. These players are too good. They're going to be able to shave off too much. They're going to be able to get too much splash. And while it sounds like a good idea, you need at least 2 medevacs, Pescat. At least 2. Alright. Looks like we are ready to go for this game number 1 of our second game of the Into the Alpha X Group C. Many thanks to both Alpha X for really putting this on. I know we're on Alpha X's channel, but hey, they're having me cast. But Alpha X for Into the Clan for doing this incredible tournament, getting some incredible players here. We have TY, we have Parting, Innovation is in Group A coming up. It's really an incredible group. This is GSL quality, high-level GSL quality tournament, and we get to watch it. And it's not just once a week. It's not just twice a week, or at least it's on top of the GSL. So the more StarCraft, the better. But I'll stop blabbering because we have game number 1 all loaded in. All right, here we go. And spawning in the bottom left, in the red, the King of Blink. It is Parting. And in the upper right, in the blue, for the Afrika Freaks, it is Armani. And what a fashionable man he is. So the real big question here, more than anything else, is what is Armani going to do? Because I gotta imagine that Armani is the underdog in this matchup. Armani is good. Armani is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in Korea. He regularly makes the GSL. That being said, Parting was in the semifinals of the GSL. Parting is one of the all-time greats at this game and currently, arguably, the best Protoss. Now, Stats is in the round of 4 of the GSL. Parting did not quite make it there this time, but I feel like that's more of the fact that Parting has his nemesis in TY recently. Now, Parting does have a winning record against TY all time, but these last 2 matchups, it looked more than anything else that Parting has, or TY has Parting's number. However, Armani has not shown the same propensity for just downloading an opponent that TY has. So I'm excited to see what he has queued up here, as Parting really tried just a little to make pretend that he was going for a cannon rush on this map. But again, this is a gateway expand behind this. There was no cannon, and Armani did not buy it. Now we see Armani going for the Korean style of ZVP, where he's going to take his third at 1920 supply. That is, in fact, that is compared to the European style, which takes it close to 28 to 34 supply. A little bit later, but you do get more queens to defend. So it's you win some, you lose some. It's not, one is not better than the other. It's just it's interesting to see the difference in styles that the 2 servers enjoy, or that the 2 really StarCraft communities enjoy here. Especially as we've kind of seen this a little more with the advent of COVID, as really regionalization across all esports has really shown itself a little bit more. You watch Dota and formerly international teams now have to play with players from their region. StarCraft events, just because of lag, it's only Korean events, or it's only American players, or it's only European players. And sure, we're still having these big dream hacks that have players from all over the place. But then you have to contend with lag and cross-server play and all these different things that make their life just a little bit more difficult for players, and we don't maybe see them at their absolute best when they're playing out of region. So there is that. And we do have a Stargate build coming from Parting here, which is really, well, it's not something I've seen out of Parting all that much. As again, this is the Gladept meta, the Glaive Adept meta, where you go and you get 4 gates and you pile drive some Adepts into your the Zerg opponent's face, and you hope he takes some damage, because if he doesn't, well, you're just going to lose the game. Stargate, so maybe a little bit more stable. It does... There are actually... Well, there are two plays. There's one that has you take a really quick third, and you just defend it with Oracles and Adepts. And then there's, of course, the one that you kind of turtle and try to move into Skytoss a little bit faster. But that's less viable at the highest level. Well, the music is enabled, player of SC2. It's just, if you look at how StarCraft works, sometimes it plays music and sometimes it doesn't. So, if people want me to, I can look into just trying to get the StarCraft playlist playing over top of the games here. But don't worry, music is enabled. StarCraft will play the music when things heat up, when things happen. I'm not exactly sure how that works. So, anyway, something to look at. We do have the first Oracle moving across the map, and I believe Armani did see that coming. So there we have the Oracle moving across the map, and we do have our safety spores anyways. And really, Parting's not going to be able to get a whole lot done with this as he wasted it. Okay, he will get the creep tournament. That's nice. It means the natural or the entire main will not be absolutely covered in creep, which could come into effect later should Armani not fix this, as they are now warp in positions that maybe don't have vision, that are a little bit harder to get to should Parting look to get more aggressive in the mid game. Now we have second Oracle coming in, and this is really not going to get anything done. 3 queens already there. And yeah, these Oracles, they're going to try, but with the spores and with the queens, there's not a lot. I'm sure they're going to get 2 or 3 workers, but 2 or 3 workers are not exactly what Parting is looking for in this game. But, you know, to quote players like Hearthstone, oh, and he loses an Oracle. As I was about to say, it really doesn't matter how much damage you get done in this game with your Oracles. So we're not assuming we're not talking about 4 to 5 Oracles or whatever, but assuming it's 1 to 2, as long as your Oracles stay alive. And now Armani sniping that first Oracle of Parting, well, that becomes a little bit problematic because you just don't have that advantage to be able to hold your third as much, to really maintain vision on the map, things like that, maybe harass later in the game. So that hurts, and this is rather interesting from Parting here, as he's going for Blink, but he's also going for a Dark Shrine behind this. And generally, so there's the Blink Colossus style. There is the Charizard Immortal Archon. There's a Mortal Sentry or, you know, Blink Sentry Colossus. These are the standard anti-Zerg compositions that Protoss can hit. However, that's not to say that Parting is not one of the great innovators of this game, and probably one of the better PvZ players at the moment. So I'm excited to see what he's breaking out here. Although, to be fair, this could just be a Dark Shrine for High Templar, or for Archons, as without the third base mineral income, Archon's a little bit cheaper that way when you only have 2 base gas. So there is that potential here. Well, you talk about that with TI losing in the GSL. Rogue has never lost an offline best of 7. So there is that opportunity. Rogue is one of the all-time greats, but not exactly in this game, as we do have Parting going for Colossi behind this. So this is interesting. I cannot help but Parting is just maybe being a little bit too greedy. But, I mean, he does have a solid defense behind here. Sentries will be able to hold for quite a bit. And we do have the Overseer moving into the main base. But Parting should be able to snipe this down before it sees anything, really. Yeah, he's not going to be able to see the Dark Shrine that is hidden in the natural base of the Protoss player. And actually, this is really a good time to point out, look at the map vision from both of these players. Right? We have Lings on patrol everywhere. We have Parting moving Adepts, moving hallucinated phoenixes across the map. We have Oracles moving all over the place. And this is one of the more active PvC maps I've seen in a while. Sure, you see this a lot in ZVZ, where you just have Overlords shuffling everywhere, but this continuous map movement from both Parting and Armani is impressive. And this is, when you want to talk about what makes players better than other players, what makes the difference, well, I would point you to things like this, where both players know exactly what is happening on almost every part of the map here. As Parting really just moving around trying to see if he can out-scout, or deny scouting, more importantly. Moving around with Stalkers, trying to get something done. Is interesting. Wow, this is really interesting from Armani here. Instead of going for +2 melee attack or +1 range or something like that, both of those are styles. No, we have Armani going for melee. Does this mean he wants to move into Ultralisks behind this? This is not... You almost never get Carapace against Protoss, just due to how the way Overkill works. Now we do have a nice run by moving in here by Armani, but this will get shoot off as the main Ro16 Ravager army of Armani moves onto the west side and really will not get a whole lot done. And then, okay, so we just have more overseers morphing in. And Parting, well, he's not been able to get a lot done, right? There's been really no aggression on the other side of the map. He's not taken any damage either, so he's going to be able to establish the 4th just in time for the Zerg player to establish the 5th. So both players are happy about this. The next match is Patience versus the winner of Armani Parting. Matt Mazzola. So there, actually, we do have the army of Armani once again moving in, nearing max, and whenever you hit max or want to get close to max as the Zerg, you want to trade, right? As that, well, there's no point sitting on a massive bank and just not really using it when you have the economy and you just want to trade more and more. And now we do have Parting moving into a more standard composition. Blink is done. We have more and more Stalkers on the way. We have 3 Colossi, and that's really all you want. Any more than that is a little bit weird. It's rather vulnerable to flanks, to large amounts of banelings, to corruptors, things like that. So now we do have Parting moving across the map at about 150 supply with a large amount of sentries here as he can blink on top of the queens. And that's nice. He's going to be able to make clearing up creep that much easier as the 4th set of force fields go down. And now the question is, will we be able to see the true wizardry of Parting as Armani actually moving in with a massive Ling run by on the south side here, going to be able to deny the 4th base of Parting. So that's going to make Parting rather all in here, sitting here on 178 supply. And actually the Baneling drop in the main base, only going to get 4 workers, as it's only +1, it's not +2, so the Baneling's not going to really be able to get done what they want. And these force fields from Parting are incredible, donating himself and getting almost all of the Banelings here. And Parting, now up 20 supply instead of down 30 that he was when this engagement starting, is looking dominant here as he's just going to crush through Armani in this game number 1. Armani just really not able to connect with anything. His army, sure, it's good, but his army needs to be able to fight. And Parting's force fields are so good. It's like painting on a canvas as he denies his opponent from doing any sort of thing that he wants to do here. Now we have Armani moving in with one last ditch effort. The Banelings will not be able to connect here. Banelings moving in from the other side, blinking out of the way. And sure, these sentries are going to go down, but the sentries have no energy anyways. Actually, no. This is an excellent angle from Armani here, as he's going to be able to get on top of the Colossi. You know, Armani here actually holding here, despite the magic of Parting earlier. And Armani, wow, Armani is going to smash the entire army of Parting with some incredible flanks, some incredible Baneling maneuvers as he finds a way back into this game. And I could not be more impressed with how Armani held that. Sure, he lost his 4th, but Parting lost his 5th, or lost his 4th as well. So, Parting really at a disadvantage here as he finds himself under 100 supply once again. Now, the army supply differential is not all that bad, right? It's only down 20. But Parting does only have +1. He versus the 1-1 of his opponent. And actually, this is interesting. As it is, okay, it is 2-1. And this is he's just gonna stay on Zerglings with Vipers behind this. And now the Parting as he continues to build more Colossi. Colossi, well, they're good before Vipers are out. There's a lot less that they can do when Vipers are out. They're just gonna yoink them out of position into the entire scary portion of the Zerg army. Now Parting's gonna try to flank away at this prospective 5th of Armani. Really not gonna be able to get a whole lot done. But anything he can do, he's just shaving units off and trading incredibly efficiently as, well, Armani really cannot engage on this. He's going to try to get us around here once again, but this round really is not going to happen. Actually, Parting's just going to micro into the stasis trap, going to force Armani back. And these Stalkers, well, I've said Parting is the king of Blink, and well, he is showing it in this game number 1, even as he does find himself on the downward side of the status quo in this game on Eternal Empire. Thank you, Epic. I'm glad you think so. Well, we'll get there one day, or maybe later tonight. Who knows? So Parting really just doing an excellent job of moving forward, sniping Ravager, blinking back. But we have another Ling run by here. But this Ling run by will not get nearly the amount of damage it did earlier on in the game. Parting, majority of his army just sitting there defending his 4th base. Says, hey, you know what? I need to be able to survive. And actually, we do have another Baneling drop moving in here. This one has +2. So any sort of probes that this drop gets, well, they're going to die, but now Parting with an excellent blink and only losing 8. Not ideal, but not the worst. Actually, Armani doing a great job of luring some of the army of Parting off the map here as he tries to get something done. And actually, we do find Parting. I don't know whether this is the macro failure of Armani or Armani's just waiting for some tech, but we do find Parting even on army supply. And sure, he's down 10, 15 supply, but that's 10, 15 supply of workers, and the Protoss will always be that. Yes, health bars go off player power. So anyway, we do have the Blink Stalkers moving back, but now they're getting surrounded, and these cracklings, these 2-1 cracklings, they are a terrifying force. But with the Zealots on the other side, well, this army of parting should be able to prevail. Well, not really. Cracklings are a scary thing, and doing the math on that one is rather difficult. Now we have, okay, so that's just an Overseer. As Armani, well, it's just really sticking on this Roachling Ravager. Where are the Vipers? Viper's now finally moving into position, ready to just say yoink, 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 and kill all the Colossi. But this is 2 armies of Armani here. And, well, parting willing. Okay, actually, really excellent here. We have some hallucinated Colossi that are going to make it really hard for the proper abduct to happen. Actually, these Vipers are in position. 1 going down, 2 going down. And, oh man, the energy wasted. Well, not on the 3rd, luckily, so there's still 200 energy there. But these Vipers are not in position, which means even if they do decide to abduct the Colossi out of position, they're just going to abduct them backwards, further away from the Zerg army that desperately wants to get on top of them. And now parting once again in a excellent position, roughly even on army supply compared to his Zerg opponent, and moving in, going to be able to cancel the, what is that, the 6th base? And move on to the 5th base. And actually, Armani really having not done a whole lot. Right, this is not even saturated. Still on 3 base set, really 3-4 base saturation with an excellent run by those. So parting once again, falling victim to the run by of Armani. That's going to be able to take out his 4th base. Now we do have a Viper finally here. So, wow, parting's just going to snipe it down before it can do anything. My goodness, parting, you god! But does that even matter as the Ultralisks are crushing forward, and well, the entire army of parting here is not good against Ultralisks, and I worry that that is not enough as the run by of Armani doing game-ending crippling damage here on the 3rd base as parting down to 36 workers, down to 44 army supply, and it looks like Armani is crushing here to a victory in this game number 1. Now parting playing zombie Protoss, but no longer as parting, as Armani taking game number 1 in this 2nd best of 3 of the night. So if that is the case, this is just the setting that I've always used for StarCraft, so I will look into that when we go to our next break, if that is what people want. Donations to this channel go directly to supporting the different events and the team of ITaX itself. ITaX sponsors Ragnarok, it sponsors Estrella, it sponsors Vivicta, who I believe is in chat right now, many other players. TY and Patience are both Korean players. Thank you. I'm just the caster. All credits and accolades go to Sushi. Hey, thank you, Necron. Wow, you are incredible. Everyone, praise the great Lord Necron, or for his pseudo undead technological creations. I assume you're a Warhammer fan. But yeah, I'm just the caster. Sushi is the organizer of this, working with Into the Clan to put things like this on. Really doing a great job. So he deserves all the accolades. I just get to sit here and talk about some really great StarCraft that we get to watch. Really, you like Necrons, but you're not a Warhammer guy. Interesting, but I'll stop talking about that because we got game number 2 loaded in. All right, here we go. Spawn in the upper left. Down 1-0. It is Dragon Phoenix Gaming's very own Parting. And in the bottom right, in the red, taking game number 1 in a tour de force, a surprising upset, it is Armani. Oh, huh. That's cool. So, we find ourselves on Submarine. And while it is yellow, and that would make it a yellow submarine, we do not all live in it. In fact, many StarCraft units do not live on this map very long, as this has the shortest rest distance of any map in the map pool, and really any shortest rest distance of any recent map. And what that means is, first of all, well, units get across the fast, but more importantly, if you're a Zerg player that really likes to play a style that just, I'm going to max out, and I'm going to trade my army, and I'm going to max out again, that doesn't work very well on this map. Armani really has less of an opportunity to do what he did in that last game where he kind of lost an army and traded and was down but was able to remax and finally kill the army of Parting and take the third behind it. With how small this map is and how many chokes there are, well, that makes life rather difficult here. Patience won the last series. Yes. Alright, so as I say that, as I hype up, we're going to see some sort of crazy aggression here. One base, something zany, insane, some sort of cannon rush. I don't know. Both players are going for the most standard builds. We have a gate expand coming from Parting, although he is getting 2 gas rather early. So maybe we'll see a Stargate here again. And we do have the hatch gas pool 16, 18, 17 coming from Armani. So nothing weird, nothing that isn't standard. Okay, actually, no, this won't be a Stargate. I'm sorry. And that, yeah, that gas was too late anyways, as we do have Warp Gate behind this. An Adept being chronoed out, and the more, if we see another Adept here, well, if we see 2 more Adepts here, that's going to show, it's going to, more likely than anything else, to be a Glaive Adept build. And that's not going to say that Parting doesn't have other tricks. But there we go. We have the Robo, and I expect to see Twilight Council thrown down rather soon as Parting has the gas. Now we do have our money going for that 330 quote-unquote scout, but with the meta now being that second stalker is what comes out of the gateway. Well, that 330 scout isn't really possible, so we're seeing Protoss player or Zerg players more and more move into scouting rather early, as that just they can confirm what the tech is. And there we do have he did in fact see that there is a Robo on the high ground, and actually this is interesting from Parting. So this is not going to be Glaive, so we do not have a Twilight Council yet. We do have a second gate on the way. And this looks more than anything like Parting just wants to expand. He's taking his third gas. He's putting a shield battery down into his wall. And things are happening. So behind this, we do just have Armani droning up as well. He's taking his third base. He took it a little bit slower than he did in game number 1. This was the 28 to 30-ish third base. This was not the 19th third base. So we do have Armani scouting, and once again, he's going to see the Immortal popping out. He's going to see the forwards on the way, and he's going to see that Parting really probably wants to take this off of 2 bases, or move this game from the 2 base position. Although I guess this could also be the Soul Train build, or some sort of Immortal Sentry all-in that Parting became so known for in Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty, and still makes work. And actually, with the Chrono on the +1 here, this is becoming more and more likely, as we do see 2 more gates on the way for a grand, well, it's going to be a grand total of 4. And yeah, there's the Warp Prism. So it looks like Parting wants to hit some sort of +1 Immortal Sentry attack, and I may be totally wrong about this. But as we progress more and more onto 5 minutes, this is looking more and more likely, as really anything after 5 minutes from a Protoss player in terms of taking a third base, well, that means there's going to have to be some heavy aggression behind it, as you need to be able to do something. But okay, so we do have the third base going down to 445. It's on the that's about average, maybe a little bit late, but not all that much. But yeah, Parting just wants to go into the mid game. And it looks like Immortal drops behind this. No, just picking the Immortal up, putting it down, and says, "Look, I have some of the best Warp Prism Micro in StarCraft 2. Let me show you how." As a couple lanes are going to run in and try to get an Adept, but the Adept will not go down. Parting just playing a ring around the Rosie. Pockets full of Posey, turning Lings into ashes. And the question here, on the other side of the map, what is our Red Zerg looking for in this game number 2? Well, it looks like Ro16 Ravager, once again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm glad you appreciate my dark and twisted sense of humor, Necron. Or I don't know dark and twisted, but certainly broken, and I'm broken inside, so it all works out. The question, though, is whether Parting is going to be broken in this game number 2, or will he be able to accomplish what he almost did in game number 1 on Eternal Empire here. As Lings are just going to run in, great force fields from Parting, as he's going to be able to snap off the rest of these Lings. They should not be able to escape, or at least not many of them. And only 3 low Lings. Well, that's a nice trade for Parting. Not the biggest of deals, but when you have that many sentries and you're really not planning on pushing out all that soon, why not? Why not kill them? So now we do have Parting posturing just a little as the Warp Prism. Okay, the Warp Prism is just following Parting's army here, and as we prepare to go into Okay, so there's a disruptor on the way, but it is going to be Colossus Tech. Meanwhile, behind this, we do have the 4th base from Armani getting up at standard time. It's not super early, but it's at a good timing based off when he knows the 3rd base of Parting is. And it looks like he wants to go Roach Ravager into Ravagerling Bane. Now, the Baneling Nest is only just now starting, so he's going to have to hold any sort of aggression that Parting wants to go here. And actually, Parting just going to drop an Immortal and a couple Zealots on the 3rd base, see if there's anything he can get done, at least weaken it for some sort of later push. But with these Lings on here now, he's really not going to be able to get a lot done. As he does force the cancel. Wow, that's really surprising. Forces another cancel. And Parting, now feeling the need to look up. He's going to be able to he gets the drone. My God, Parting, calm down. That was, I know it's not the biggest of deals in the end of the game, but this delays the 4th base of Romani by a solid minute 30. Or at least a minute. And that, well, that does not feel good as the Zerg player. What that means is Parting is going to be on the same number of bases as his opponent for the time being, and that's not a position you ever want to be as a Zerg player, because Protoss units are just better. That is how the race is designed. Zerg has a lot of units. Their units suck, but they have a lot of them. Protoss will have less units. They're more expensive. Their supply is going to be lower, but their units are just really good. And yeah, it's all a matter of balance of how quickly or the balance question then is how quickly can these Zerg units do things? How can they accrue them? How can their engages happen? Things like that. But if you're on the same base count as your opponent, as your Protoss opponent, that feels scary. That does not feel good. Now, Armani, to his credit, he has a rather large army. He has 10 Ravagers. He's going up to 15 Banelings, and I would expect him to see more here. Although he really doesn't have the ability to make that massive Baneling numbers you'll see Dark Dew or something. He doesn't have a 4th base. He does not have 8 gas. So he just does not have the capacity for that. This may do something as he looks to go into Aspire behind this. Baneling drops on the way. Actually, double Baneling drops on the way, and this will really test the multitasking of Parting, as now Parting all prepared to move across the map, or at least posture here. And the probe will see this drop incoming. That's big. He will not see the other one. But this first one will be spotted, and Parting already warping in Stalkers to be able to try to get something done. Now, there's a cannon in the natural base, or the 3rd base of Parting here, but this is going into the main base. Okay, not quite yet. Parting's going to have to pull his probes. Okay, so that drop got nothing done. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Parting. Okay, Parting able to save, only losing 3 workers here, but the probes are incredibly damaged, which means that maybe, just maybe, there's something he can do later on. And now we have Armani looking to cancel the 4th base, just like he did in game number 1. But this time, Parting staying home says, look, I know what you want to do here. I know your proclivities for violence against 4th bases. I'm going to stay back, and I'm going to defend it. And once I find myself in a good position, in a happy position here, that's when I move across. But I'm going to make sure to maybe be a little bit more defensive as I do it. And I should also point out here, Parting's economy, compared to his opponents, is a lot better than it was in game number 1. He finds himself even on army supply. Oh, that's a massive Baneling run by here, as we have Parting catching it in just in time, warping in a couple Stalkers. But I don't know if this is going to be able to... Actually, great job blinking on top of it and blocking all of them. Parting, my God. Calm down. So we have the Warp Prism moving in. He's going to be able to see where the army of his Zerg opponent is, as there's not a lot. And actually, he's going to be able to send a Disruptor while it's not going to get anything done. Good move from Parting, though. He's going to be able to get 1 Disruptor, or 1 Ravager. And 1 Ravager is better than 0 Ravagers as you look to try to kill things. Actually, he's going to be able to cancel a couple more, but this is a massive Ling run by running here. And the wall is down. Parting, oh no. As Lings are going to run both into the main and the natural. Parting forced to be all in once again. I see Waffles here outside of the main base. Outside of the gap between the main and the natural of Parting. And actually, Parting doing a rather good job of holding this. Probes have not gone down yet. And now Parting force fielding off, only allowing 1 choke. But these Corruptors are the scary force here as they try to take down the Colossi. But it really doesn't matter if the Colossi survive as long as the rest of the Zerg army dies. And now with 2 Colossi remaining, Parting blinking forward into the Banelings. But these force fields are so goddamn good. Parting, calm down. Parting crushing in here. Sure, the Colossi died, but the Corruptors are going down there. Now, Armani, he will be able to kill the natural of Parting. Parting losing 23 workers in this, but Parting is able to camp out on the natural of Armani here as he looks to crush us into a game number 3. Sure, there's a run by in the main base, and there is no warp-ins for Parting here. Parting is turning this into rather a base trade. And I'm not sure how much I like this. Sure, his army is terrifying. Sure, he's up 30 army supply, but Banelings can wipe out that in an instant. And the question, though, what is Parting going to be able to do? And the Lings actually being forced home. The Disruptor, wow, they could have gotten a nice pick up there, but they choose not to as they don't see it. Now Parting blinking on. Again, I'm talking about fantastic force fields. I sound like a broken record here, as Parting once again just going to prevent all the banelings from dying here, forcing Roaches into awkward positions, and now he's just going to be able to force field off the main should he desire it. And sure, he only has 30 workers, but soon Armani will have a similar economy here, and Armani finds himself double the army supply. And Armani going on for that true base trade. And actually, he's not going to lose anything to that disruption. A great split from here from Armani as he looks to try to really wipe out the third base of Parting and say, look, you know what? You got to win with the army you got because you're going to have no economy left. But these are not exactly the best targeted banelings here, as a lot of them are wasted on a relatively few amount of banelings. As Parting moving into the fourth base, moving into the fifth base. Well, I guess the main and the natural here of Armani, as Armani really just going gung-ho here on his attempt to kill the third base. And now actually there is no Cyber Core. There is no Cyber Core for Parting, so no more Blink Stalkers, nothing that no more Sentries as well, nothing that he's really been staking his name on here, just Charge Bloods. But that may be enough. That may be enough here, as really we find Armani on one base with the force fields once again moving in. Parting blinking forward, only 3 banelings left, and I do not believe that Armani has enough. And there we go, Parting tying it up, moving us into game number 3. That was exciting. That was fun. I enjoyed that game number 2. Very much so. Those Parting just saying, you know what? I don't care if you run by me. I don't care if you have good macro. I don't care if you have good surrounds. I'm just going to paint a picture. I'm the Galileo. I'm not the Galileo. I don't discover stars. I am the Picasso. I am the Michelangelo of force fields, and none of your banelings shall connect. I will paint nice splatterings of green goo on the ground. I mean, I'm gonna argue that if you see the explosions of banelings on the ground, well, that is that's a painting. That's an impressionist painting, no less. So that's more of a Monet or a Picasso than we have the great masters of Michelangelo or things like that. Wait. That's amazing. I did not know that Parting has a Picasso emote. That's awesome. Hey, you know what? I don't really even watch Parting's stream. He's a great player, and I love watching him play, but I really can't stand the microphone. So I didn't know this ahead of time. I'm not harking to some Parting stream past where he has that. So that makes me really happy. Parting emotes are great in chat. So this makes me rather excited. But we have a game number 3, so let's get ourselves into it. All right, here we go. And spawning in the bottom left, in the red, the modern day force field Picasso, it is Parting for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. And in the upper right, in the blue, the teammate of Parting's nemesis, it is Armani. Going for a 12 pool in this game number 3. Because I didn't want another 20-minute game, another 15-minute game of great surrounds and run-bys and multitasking and 2 armies fighting at the same time and force fields and all these exciting things that make me excited to be a StarCraft fan. No. I want a 12 pool. I want to end this game before 5 minutes, one way or the other. The force field Picasso. Well, I mean, Parting already has the emote, so I can't say I trademarked it as much as I would like. To say I'm some brilliant mind. Oh God, what have we unleashed? But anyway, we do have the 12 pool moving out, and Parting will scout this. So this was a gate scout, which means he scouted it maybe a little bit later than he would have liked, but he will be able to block the natural here. And this natural is already late enough. Oh, nice play, Armani. Nice try. It's not going to work, but one Ling is going to be able to just hit on this probe, but he's going to be able to block with the pylon. And Armani is never getting that natural, which means that this 12 pull has to do significant damage. Hey, is this the cure that also plays for Dragon Phoenix? Is this the GSL level cure? Welcome to these games, Cure. It's an honor to have you here. But now we do have Parting getting ready. He's gonna micro his heart out as he looks to hold this all in from Armani. And sure, there's natural on the way, but let's be real here. This has to do damage, whether by right or by conquest. Whether by the right of forcing Parting's build to be a little bit off, or by the conquest of actually killing him, but I don't think either are really going to happen here, as we do have 2 Adepts on the way, and this 12 pool is really not getting a lot done. That being said, this was only a 6-link commitment. Generally, when you see 12 pools, you see 8, you see 10, you see 12 links, and they're really trying to get something done here. This was more of a pressure build from Armani. And we continue on into this game. And I said I wanted a longer game, and it looks like Armani, through his just majesty, has seen fit to grant me this boon. As well, he just didn't commit, and Parting did a good hold, but now we do have two Adepts and a Zealot moving across the map looking to put pressure on the 3rd base, and that is going to make it rather difficult. Anyway, well, he does have Twitch partner, so he is a verified cure. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, so we do have the 2 Adepts and the Zealot moving into the, what is the natural of Armani? Debated there. But anyway, so we do have Armani moving onto the, will be the natural base of Armani. It's going to make it almost impossible for him to mine off of this base for the time being here. Now, there are enough lings that's going to make this hard, but the Adepts are going to be able to move off creep, but he's going to trap one, and that's nice. But the other Adept is going to be able to run into the main base, going to be able to scout, and actually forcing some drones off mining, as Parting really is... Parting's in a good spot this game. As well, again, he's up in income, as we can see there. He is the cure to my woes. Or at least the cure to Alpha X's woes, as he got him a sub. So, I'll take it. But anyway, we do have Twilight Council. We do have a robo here coming from Parting. And did Armani scout that? Armani did scout that, okay. Who am I to judge the great Armani, the master of Italian fashion himself? So, Parting may be a Michelangelo, really more of a Picasso of force fields. But if we want to go and look at Armani, well, he is one of the great masters. Well, master of fashion, one of the great Italian masters. Where can I go with this? I don't know. His play's fancy. The metaphor finds itself lacking here, but we do have glaives on the way for Parting as he looks to move across once again. He will find these lings, but Zergling speed is done. So now Parting, just being forced to recall here. He's going to lose 1 Adept? No, just barely not. But we do have... This is... Wow. Okay, so going up to 6 gates. This is the all-in version of the Glaive Adept. This is the 6-gate version of the Glaive Adept pressure, quote-unquote, the great Glaive Adept build we've been seeing. This one is a whole lot more all-in than the 4-gate one. This one does not get a 3rd. This one just says, hey, look, all you have are Zerglings. I'm going to shove Adepts that attack too damn fast in your face. So, we do have Parting now moving across the map once again with his 5 Adepts, and that is more than these Zerglings can hope to hold. And the Rochewarren is not done. Armani, just being safe here, is going to get some swords behind this as well, but this means, of course, that he has less workers than he would like, and he's on even worker supply with his Protoss opponent. Now, as we have Parting moving across the map, Glaive's just about done here. So maybe mistiming this just slightly, but he still has an opportunity, excuse me. I can talk to do some crazy damage here. The lings are going to move out, and the Zerglings going to try to get us around, but with this large amount of Adepts here, as we move into 14 Adepts, that's a lot of lings. And oh, well, he's going to get a good piecemeal surround here, and Parting really not sectioning off as he would like. Lings actually taking a good trade here. I am not a StarCraft pro. I'm at around Masters level, which is good enough, but no, I have never had the time to really try to learn how to play. But we'll talk about that later. As Parting really pushing in once again with this insane amount of Adepts, 6 at a time, as he just hopes to hit that tipping point where Armani, on his 39 worker economy, cannot hope to hold. Now, there are roaches out here, which makes this a little bit difficult, but with only 4 roaches here, well, this is a number of Adepts that can fight roaches. But Parting forced back once again. Is really not going to be able to get a whole lot done here. Lings going in once again for this round, and Adepts are going to move forward. So Lings are only going to be able to engage for so long, and Lings are going to be able to force back once again. Now Parting targeting down the Rochewarren. And he will be able to get it. So there are no more roaches possible in this map. And it's down to Link Spine as Armani attempts to reestablish his Rochewarren. But now there is a timing that Parting can go for as he attempts to enforce his will on Armani here. It's not worked thus far, but it may work soon. Sorry for that. As we have Parting once again shading in, just forcing his opponent to reestablish his position, trying to get something done. But it's a lot of adepts, yes, but it's not enough. Not yet. But we do have, well, we have a Robo-Bay in the way, and I think this is probably Disruptors. More than anything else. Actually, Parting's going to let that shade complete into a relatively paltry Roach Link Force, to be totally honest. Parting gently micros backwards. Trades rather efficiently, but if we look at the trades at the end of the day, Parting having lost a good deal more, 400 resources more than his opponent. And when you're on even worker supply, even income, that's not all that great. But behind this, Parting has been probing up. He now finds himself +5 workers, and sure, he does not have a third base yet. The magic number of adepts in PvZ is as many as you can get. But we do have Parting going for a rather delayed third base here. But he's forced his opponent to stay on about 40 workers for this entire time. Which means that, well, this has done, well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's done oblique damage. It's not done direct damage. It has not just killed a bunch of workers. But it has, in fact, forced his opponent to stay on low economy. And now Parting is not going to allow this to complete. And a large amount of Lings are going to run in, try to see if they can cancel the third. But there's enough of Parting's army behind this. As the Adepts just kind of sit forward, try to see what they can get done. But the Roaches are now going to push out. And our lair is just about done, which means that Roaches will eventually have speed, and the time of the Adepts will be passed, as these are great force fields from Parting, as he says, no, 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 your run-bys will not happen. My Stalkers will not die, as he is forced to recall his workers. Now, he has lost 21 Adepts in this fight for 71 Lings. That's a pretty great trade, in all honesty, for Armani here. But the question, though, is whether Parting has done enough. Sure, he's lost more. All right, that is not without question. But he's forced his opponent to be on less economy for a good portion of this game. Again, look at the last 5 minutes of income. It's been in Parting's favor for most of it, even as Armani does just hit that run button now that the pressure is abated. And the question, of course, is what is Parting's plan from here? He went up to 2 Disruptors. And actually, where's the Warp Prism? Okay, so there's not Disruptor drops, and he actually did not get Warp Prism speed, so there's that. And we do have Blink behind this, and it looks like Parting wants to go and do some sort of maybe Blink Immortal. He does have the room for Colossus Deck, but he does not feel rich enough to take care of that at the moment. As we do just have the Warp Prism scouting around, looking for any potential run-bys. And Armani only just now establishing his 4th base. So Parting maybe not in the most auspicious position this game. I've read the bird signs, and it doesn't look the best for him. He's not in a bad spot. There was only one diseased liver in the Sacred Cow. Yeah, bad joke. Bad jokes. Anyway, so we do have Parting moving across the map. Once again, Armani will be able to catch these 4 Adepts that we're looking to scout out. And actually, Armani setting up an excellent link. Okay, he's not. Armani looking like he wants to set up an incredible link flank here, as we have Parting aggressing with Blink Stalker Disruptor. Now, there is always the... Oh, what a... That's a shot. That's what he's looking for here. Number 2 will not get nearly as much, but Parting now only down 20 army supply. And on even upgrades, because, again, 0-0 to 0-0. That makes it even. So we do have... Now, okay, so the Warp Prism is going to... The Warp Prism is going to go down. That's unfortunate, but now we have Parting blinking forward. Says, ah, yes, I'm going to try to get what I can. He does target a Ravager down, but nothing more than that. But no, we do have more Disruptor Balls, excuse me, coming in, but they will not hit as the Zerg sits back on creep once again. Disruptor Ball going in once again, and that's going to get a couple links. Not the best, but again, this is Blinkstalker Immortal behind this. Not a relatively powerful army composition, but Armani is just storming through it. He says, I have enough. Get back, move back to your base, or get out of my game. I don't care, but run away from me. And Parting is forced to retreat. And actually, that last bile is going to get the Observer. So creep is now going to be allowed to stay, is allowed to be unfettered. And behind this, there was a nice Zergling run by. Did not get any probes. I'm sorry, it got 19 probes. Wow, it's paying too much attention to the fight. Yeah, the goal is to make this tournament better now. So, anyway, we do have Parting's army moving across the map here. And actually, this Disruptor this Disruptor's in a scary spot. There's actually a big Zergling run by moving in, trying to get more damage done. As Parting, really not in a great position here in this game, as he's going to lose the Disruptor. And Lings are going to be able to get on top of things. Disruptor Bile is not going to quite hit. And actually, this is the best choke in the game. But we do have a Zergling run by. He's going to be able to get in once again, and more probe damage is going down, forcing a recall from Parting here when he really wants to be on the map and try to get some counter damage done. But he can't, because Armani has Lings in his third base, in his natural, and now Armani says, hey, look, I'm going to move onto your side of the map, and behind this, we do have 11 mutas on the way. And if this army from Armani will not kill Parting, these mutas have a high potential to 15 mutas on the way now. As Armani, really his only goal is to trade Blink Stalkers away from Parting. So it makes it harder and harder for Parting to be able to recover from this, to be able to handle the Zergling or the muta aggression that is coming in. Now these Slings are going to go down, try to get what damage they can, but Armani, in the great words of Todd, look at the supply. Armani almost up 100 supply, almost doubling, more than doubling the army supply of Parting here, and I really don't know what he's going to be able to do. This is a lot of mutas, 17 mutas with 4 on the way. It would be more, but Armani is maxed out. These mutas may be waiting for +1, but I think they can do that even more than that. And they don't even have to go kill probes. They can oh, they're going to get the Warp Prism too, so Parting are really going to be stuck in his base here. As the mutas, well, they're going to get... They can just fight with the main army, in all honesty. But, oh, that Disruptor Shot. That Disruptor Shot was rather good, as Parting's going to blink on once again, trying to see whether he can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But the muta's now running into the main base, ravaging the main base of Parting here, as they're going to be able to get on top of the Disruptors here, and that's going to be rather unfortunate. One's going to go down, the other will survive, but now Parting having to dedicate most of his army to his main base, as the majority of the army of Armani is going to crash into the natural, into the third, but backing up. Does not feel quite confident as of yet, but now the muta's back into the main base, just getting pylons, see what they can do to unpower buildings, supply block our red Protoss here, as he struggles to maintain his position in this game number 3, stuck on 3 bases to the 5 of Armani, as Armani has the rich gold as well, rich Vespine as well, as he just, well, he's just going to sit the mutas on top of the Stalkers at this point, content that he can take the fight even if Parting is up an upgrade, and there we have it. Armani taking game number 3, and we have our winner's match. If anyone tonight had told me that our loser's match would be Parting versus TY and our winner's match was Patience versus Armani, I wouldn't have believed you in the slightest. That would not jive. Not at all. But we have our winner's match and our loser's match set up. We're going to go into our winners first. It's going to be Armani versus Patience. And then we get a rematch, and not only is it a rematch, it's a rematch to stay in the tournament. Now apparently TY is the reigning champion of this tournament. All right. So, as we get our players ready for their winner's match, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have Armani versus Patience. And I'm really interested to see how that works, because they've looked really good tonight. So we shall see. We'll be back soon. Alrighty then, we're back with the winners match of this Group C of the Into the Alpha X Pro Circuit. Now, you may have seen people talking about it in chat, but I would be remiss if I did not mention the fact that this is, in part, a crowdfunded tournament. You, yes you, can contribute to this, even if you have no money to contribute to it yourself. You can use the code that is in chat right now to give 50 cents towards the tournament. You can do survey quests and get more than that. You can buy the replay pack for $10, and 100% of that money goes towards this prize pool. But we have our winners match, so let's get on into it. All right. Here we are, spawning in the upper right, in the blue, taking down Parting to get here. It is Armani. And in the bottom left, in the red, killing the TVP god himself, it is Patience. All right, TY and Parting are playing in the losers match. So they are playing in the series after this. Patience, well, Patience, this may happen rather fast, as Patience is going for Cannon Rush in this game number 1. He says, you know what? I saw what you did to Parting. I saw those run-bys. I saw how scary your late game was. I want none of that smoke, as he's going to send 2 probes across the map and look to end the game before it can even begin here. As the 1 probe sharking around in the main base. Actually, Armani seems to know something's amiss here, as he's going to try to burn the high ground wall, but this low ground wall will, in fact, get up. And now with the probes being pulled, it's going to be rather difficult for them to get in there. They want to target the most recent pylons. They're going to try to target this one. But I guess this one is a little bit more exposed, so that is going to be their target here. As Armani has sectioned, or as Patience has sectioned off so much of this space behind the mineral line. But this is a rather decent commitment, although we do see that Patience, he wants to eventually get a natural here. This is kind of like a forge fast expand. So now we do have Patience not really canceling any of these pylons. And you know what? Okay, this one pylon will allow these cannons to survive, and he's going to waltz some of the probes in. Wow, that's actually a really excellent play here. It forces probe damage. Regardless of what happens, actually, these probes are going to be able to get... So this is a cannon. And actually, these probes are just going to be able to surround it, and this cannon's going to go down. Armani with an incredible hold of this incredibly committed cannon rush. Okay, but now it's round 2. But there we have it. Armani just going to hold game 1 just like that. That scourge of... the ladder, that cannon rush, that, you know, I've heard people say this shouldn't even be in the game. We need to nerf this out. Armani says, no, let me show you how it's done. As he holds it like that. Says, I'm just going to pull all my drones, and I'm going to go kill things, and you're not going to be able to get anything up long enough, because it's ice and chrome, and there's enough space behind it. Okay, that is game number 1, and now that finds our good friend, Armani. I don't know if he's a good friend, but... you know, he is our, he's in this game, and he's up 1-0. So there we go. We have map number 2. Map number 2 will be Submarine. Let's just work on getting our assets set up properly. Again, map 2 on Submarine. Which, again, we talked about how small that map is. We talked about how aggressive it can be. Well, I was wrong last time. Doesn't mean I'm going to be wrong this time, as we have players in the lobby and we're waiting for the countdown to begin on Submarine. And I'm really interested to see what we're going to see here. Patience trying to take game number 1 in a speedy fashion. I don't know whether this is a... I really don't want to play Armani in the late game. I don't know if it's a... well, I just think I can get a quick game here. I've played Armani on ladder, and I am afraid... and I think I can get him with this. I don't know what it is. There is so much meta between even players that don't play each other a lot in tournaments, because, again, they're all playing in Korea. It's a relatively small player base compared to everything else, and especially at the very top, right? There are only so many players that have over 7k MMR that you can match with. And then there's practice. Well, I don't know if these players are practice partners. I would imagine not. They're on different teams. But there are all these different opportunities for these players to play each other, whether on barcodes or not, and really just get a feel for how other players play. So it's really going to be interesting to see what Patience pulls out here in this game number 2, whether he continues with his cheesy shenanigans, or whether he does something a little bit more standard. But, you know, we have our game loaded in, so let's get into it. And here we are, spawning in the upper left, up 1-0 off of a really fantastic cannon rush hold. It is Armani. And in the upper right, in the bottom right, in the blue, for Team LP, it is Patience. And clearly, he did not have enough patience to take that last game to the mid game. But it looks like for this one, we might see something a little. There we go. We have a gate expand and a gate scout too. So Patience, he's not going to run. He's not going to run it back. He's not going to say, "Well, I think my cannon rush didn't work just because it was ice and chrome, and I think I can make it work on this map." No, he's on submarine. No, he's going for a more standard play. He's going to go scout. He's going to play reactively. Well, I'm not going to say he's going to play reactively. He's not stats. He has more tricks to his sleeve maybe, but I don't really know how Patience plays. I mean, we saw him beat TY, but that was just off of some solid cheese hold, solid all-in holds. We have not seen a lot of what happens when Patience wants to when Patience actually is able to dictate the game rather than just try to respond and defend. And if anyone in chat knows what Patience is saying in Korean, thank you, Inu. Thank you for the translation. It's funny. So we do have the players bantering just a little bit in this game number 2. I gotta imagine something about how that cannon rush really didn't work, but I don't know. Patience doing a good job translating at least parts of this into English so I can understand what's happening. I don't know, but yeah, if anyone in chat knows what they're saying, please feel free to let me know. I'm curious. But anyway, we do have rather standard openers here. A question: Armani going for the European style of opener here, going for probably a 28 to 30-ish third base, but he is pumping up a decent amount. Okay, this is just your first 6 links. You build 4 to 6 depending on what you think your opponent's going to do. We do have Adepts being chroned out. Warp Gate was on the way. I did not see whether... Oh, it doesn't matter because we have a Twilight Council on the way. And I, for one, am excited to see some Glaive Adept action. Am I, though? Am I really? But it doesn't really matter what I'm excited to see or not, because that appears to be what's going to happen here. I mean, there's a chance it's DTs. There's a chance. Yes, TY played already. TY played in the first match of the night, but he will be playing next as well. So he lost to Patience, and Armani beat Parting. So we're going to have a TY Parting losers match in this group number C, which is not what I expect, not what anyone expected, but it's here we are. So we do have Glaive Adepts on the way. Again, if we're talking about Dark Shrine, there is a chance that there is going to be a DT follow-up to this, but not all that standard. Actually, the Lings are going to try to get in, but forcing the entire probe line of Patience to be pulled. Interesting that Patience lets him get in there and actually gives him a free scout. Hey, buddy, how's it going? And actually, these Lings are going to be able to not only are they going to get a free scout, they're going to get a couple probes. And that is pretty nice. Okay, they don't see the Twilight Council, but they see the Robo, they see the number of gas, and that tells them what they need to go already. And this is actually just a link flood. What am I talked about this build, that Armani likes to link flood Protoss players. At the very beginning of the cast, and I forgot about it at that point, but yeah, Armani just flooding Lings off of this 3 bases, off of 21 workers, and he's going to be able to get through. Now, the Warp Gate did complete, so he's not going to be able to cancel that, but he's going to be able to get this gate as well. He's going to be able to get these shield batteries. And, you know, sure, Glaives are just about done. Sure, the wall is up. And, you know, as I'm poo-pooing this, I'm saying, sure, it doesn't really matter. Patience is looking like he's getting in a position to hold this. With the shield overcharge, just targeting, to be able to target this Adept, and really nothing's taking damage. Sure, this gate's going to go down, but the wall is still being rewalled. The question, though, is how much production does our Blue Protoss have? And it's not a lot. So even as this all happens, there are 2 more gates on the way. Glaives is just about done. Actually, this is really looking good. Armani breaks through. He runs into the main. He runs into the natural. Now he's going to be able to get around here. It doesn't matter how many Adepts you have to get through. And there we have it. Armani advancing in first place in this group number C. Going into this, If you had asked me who was going to get out, I would have said Parting. And I would have said TY in no particular order. If you'd asked me who I thought had a sleeper's chance, I would have said Patience. Patience has looked good in the GSL. If you had come in and told me that Armani was going to go out 4-1 in map score, was going to go out 2-0 in match score, and go out in first place in this group, I would have looked at you funny. So, that's fun. We have the matchup that I was the most excited for when I saw the players in this group. I think everyone else is as well. We are getting ready to go into the losers match. We're going to see some more Parting TY, which is one of the more interesting rivalries we've seen come up in this 2020 tournament season. Now TY has taken the best of it thus far, 3-1 both times. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that this is not the time that Parting is going to take it back, especially considering TY has to play a Protoss in stats in the GSL round of 4 coming up next. I believe it's next Friday, next Tuesday or next Friday. I'm not sure on that. But anyway, we are now waiting. Now it's time to get into the losers match. So I'm going to throw us once again to a quick break. Enjoy the ads, enjoy the music, and we will be back with Parting versus TY. And man, I could not be more excited. This is going to be great. All right, we are back with the losers final and the most hype game of the day. It is going to be Parting versus TY. Map order will be Everdream number 1, Ice and Chrome number 2, Death Aura number 3. And you know, again, this is the matchup I've been the most excited about coming into here. But as we get ready to move into this elusive match, once again, I need to bring up that this tournament is partially sponsored by Matcherino. And what that means is even if you don't have money, you can use the code in the chat. Yeah, and I'll get into that in a second. Use the code in the chat to donate 50 cents. Things like that. So this tournament is put on by ITaX and Into the Clan, which is a Korean clan. They're not a team, but some of the biggest players in StarCraft 2 in South Korea do play for. TY is tagged as Into the Clan, for example. And so this is there are 4 groups. It's a GSL style group. And actually, I'll talk about that a little more in a second because we're loading into game number 1. So here we go. I'm excited. Let's do this. Alrighty then, here we are, spawning in the upper right. In the red for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Parting. And in the bottom left, in the blue, his nemesis, it is TY. So, talking about this tournament a little bit as our game gets set up. Now, this game number 1 on Everdream. So there are 4 groups in this tournament for a total of 16 players. The prize pool is, at a bare minimum, $1,030. After that point, it's going up and up off things like Matcherino, sponsors. You can do survey quests, whatever, as I sit here and shill this a little bit more. There are a bunch of different ways you can do to contribute to the tournament. You can buy the replay pack for $10. And actually, the survey quest right now is really easy. Just ask 4 questions about beef jerky. That being said, this has really most, if not all, of the best players of the GSL. It has TY, it has Parting, as we're seeing right now. It has Innovation, it has others. I'm just blanking at the moment. So Alpha, and this is, again, I'm just talking about how this is ITaX's tournament, well, at least in part. ITaX is one of the largest, if not the largest, North American StarCraft team. That being said, they definitely support more than North America, as they partnered with Into the Clan here. They have Ragnarok in South Korea. They have Estrella, who spent a good amount of time in South Korea, etc., etc., etc. So they're doing really good work, and they've really moved on from just being a team into a community organization as well. They have a bunch of amateur teams for different team leagues, if that's what you're into. They put on awesome tournaments like this that I'm lucky enough to be the voice guiding you deep into the night doing this. They put on amateur tournaments too. I know there was a 5.2K and below tournament earlier this morning that they invited me to cast. I wanted to make sure I was ready for this one. Things like that. So they do a bunch of different stuff. I am just a humble caster that casted a clan war yesterday between Exxon and ITaX, and they liked what I did, so they asked me if I wanted to cast tonight. And who am I to say no, man, with players like this? I used to do a bunch of stuff 4 years ago with the Ascended Star League, but then I took a break to pursue my undergrad and master's in aerospace engineering, and now I'm back because of COVID. And hopefully back to stay, even as I do try to find time with the PhD and everything else that I'm going to be doing. Well, actually, I'm moving on Tuesday, so that should be a good time. But let's get back to the game. The dead zone is now done, and we have TY going for the build that killed Parting three times last night. We have Hellions on the way, and I'm excited to see how Parting has responded. Oh, thank you so much, Necron. 5 more. Necron, you're too generous. I appreciate, man. You know, you are the absolute leader. You have, I think there have been 10 total gifted subs to this channel. And I think there have been 10 total gifted subs, and you've given all 10 of them. But anyway, we do have Parting looking to set a pylon here, out on the main, outside of TY's natural, as he tries to get, outside of stairs, he tries to get something done. His Parting is going for DTs behind this, so it looks like we are going to have a rehash of game number 1, except Except TY has learned, and he says, I'm always going to get a Raven when I'm playing with Parting after how that Golden Wall game went. And a Raven is on the way. And actually, they're just less Hellions this time. This is a mind game. Yes. No, this, everything goes, I mean, all these subs, everything else, it does go to Alpha X. And helps them put on these great tournaments, support their players, does all these different things. So, really, I from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. And actually, one of the people you gave a sub to, Sugar, is one of the people that really helps develop the different tournaments things they run. Like, he runs a 2v2 cup, but I believe he's like technically the head of tournaments or something like that. And I appreciate you, Necron. And to answer someone's question, yes, I do stream on Twitch. I cast tournaments, not on the Alpha X channel. It's on twitch.tv/Beowulf. But I'll show myself later, because Dark Templar are moving into the main base here, and the Raven. Where's the Raven? Raven is absolutely in position, but not quite, as DTs are going to start shredding away at the SCVs here. 6 workers going down, 7 workers, 8 workers going down, and man, this is damage. This is damage that should not have happened here. TY was prepared, 10 workers going down, and Parting just says, you know what? I don't care that you have detection here. I have a Warp Prism, and I am the best in the world at microing with a Warp Prism here, as he just drops. He's effectively just dropping in and out of Marine shots, and I don't even think that's possible. But it's happening here, as now TY trying to recoup from this, going to get some missile turrets up and maybe eventually allow for the defense to happen. But 11 workers going down, which means, man, Parting's up. Parting's up 9 workers. He was up 11 for a second, and I think I gotta imagine he's happy with that. 11 workers and not losing anything whatsoever. It's pretty daggone good. Gotta imagine. So now we do have Stalkers roaming out on the map, seeing if they can catch any sort of counterattack coming from TY here. And, well, that counterattack is commencing. 2 boosted medevacs and a Raven moving across the map, going to try to see what they can do to the potential third base of Parting. Actually, Parting Stalkers are out of position, and Blink is only halfway done. So there is definitely a timing here where Parting, at the very least, or where TY at the very least may be able to cancel this third base. Cannot cancel it anymore. The third base is now done, so he's going to stim out of here and maybe try to kill it, but now the recall is here, so it should be fine. But I'm not convinced that that recall is enough, but okay, there we go. The Warp Prism is going to go down, but both DTs are going to be able to go out, and with this, Parting should have enough to be able to fend off his Terran opponent here, his nemesis in this match. And, well, the Ravens are going to drop some auto turrets, go back, and trade rather evenly, to be totally honest, although the Warp Prism going down is not all that great. But now with Blink only just now being completed, TY stimming in once again, but Blink's not done. He will, however, get the Immortal, and that is the backbone of the Protoss force here. And don't forget these auto turrets. Auto turrets do insane damage, but the Raven will go down. And Parting, I think Parting's doing okay here, trading just about evenly compared to his Terran opponent. And TY, once again, stuck on 2 bases, only just now starting his 3rd command center at around 6:30 in this game number 1. What that means is he does have to do more damage, especially considering Parting killed 11 workers earlier on. 11 workers is a lot. It's a whole lot more. I believe Sushi gave you that VIP. As hey, you donated, you gave us 11 subs. I mean, that's pretty awesome. But anyway, TY is not in the best position as of yet. Parting's up 20 worker supply. He's roughly even in army supply. Sure, he's actually rather behind in upgrades. And the forges, while they're down, it appears that Parting has either forgotten to start his upgrades, but more likely there are other things he prioritized over his upgrades in this game. The Colossi, the Colossus range, and there we have it, +1 now on the way, as he should be able to support this on 61 workers. Will be able to get full 6 gas saturation. And Parting's looking rather good in this game number 1, but TY is not just scary because of his ability to win early game. TY is terrifying because his ability to just stall games out into the late game and just not die. Yeah, that's that game we saw in Death Aura on the GSL Season 1 where Parting tried to break him, and TY said, no, I have 8 siege tanks. You will not break this. The chokes are too good. But the question is whether TY will even be able to get to that in this game. As he's only just now landing his 3rd base at 8:37 into the game. And he finds himself to get down 12 workers. And, man, look at the income lead here. Sure, there was a brief period where TY did take the lead just because he has mules. And for those of you that are not aware, mules are rather good units. But they only last a certain amount of time, and they do mine out mineral patches faster. So in the end of the day, sure, TY's been able to hold up just a little, but I'm not all that. I don't think he's looking all that great. It's Parting. He's putting down his 4th base as TY puts down his 3rd. Playing that almost Zergy style of PvT that we've really seen Parting innovate more than anyone else, where he just tries to stay 1 to 2 bases ahead of his opponent and just crush him with the sheer weight of his large probe count. His huge income advantage. Anyway, Parting actually getting a abnormally large amount of Archons behind this. Generally, you see Blink Stalkers, you see Charge Lots, you see maybe Storm, but Archons are not the standard. Archons are not the standard in this matchup. But on the flip side, there are no tank. There are only 2 tanks. His incredibly large base count. Yeah, exactly. What, did you think I was going to say something else? But anyway, we do have Parting looking to aggress once again with almost, it looks more like Charged Archon with a couple Colossi than it does anything else. And actually, this is just a massive Zealot run-by count that's just going to be sectioned off. So when TOI inevitably attacks, this Zealot run-by is just going to kill everything. Actually, not even waiting for then. He sees that the army of TY is sitting on the 3rd base, and the run-by of Parting now running into the natural. And there is nothing to defend this whatsoever. TY is going to be forced to return, and even then, he's going to take incredible damage. Actually, he's going to be able to get a tank too, which is really nice. As the tanks will always be the backbone of this army. As 13 war workers go down, TY stuck on 40 workers here. And now Parting, he's going to target down the reactor here and make it so much harder for a sufficient amount of Vikings to get out. And that's going to make the Colossi that much stronger here. And now, it should be said that TY has a good army supply. He's up 20 army supply compared to his opponent, but Parting has forced the entire army of TY into the main base, but not for long, as TY realizes the danger that sits at his front and knows that Parting is never going to just attack in one place at once, as now Parting posturing in to maybe attack into 3rd base. And these Vikings now will be able to fight uncontested here, as there's just not a lot of Blink Stalkers. Now, there are some, and they're going to be able to target down a Medevac, but not even get it. So we do have 2-2 just about done here, and it's only 1-1 for TY. TY not even starting 2-2. So Parting will have a massive upgrade lead for the majority of this game, and this disruptor shot, not bad, but not great, as we do still have TY up 30 army supply in this game, and with the those are massive EMPs hitting everywhere, and there's no real way to get on top of the Vikings. I'd like TY's siege up, but the longer this lasts, the better it looks for Parting. As TY once again moving, trying to get any volley he can on these Colossi. One Colossi incredibly close to death here. Now Parting's going to blink in, going to be able to get a Viking, and these Vikings are not replenished at nearly the velocity. That's not the word. Nearly the frequency that TY would have liked. As now the engage is happening, but TY with a great arc on the downside of this Colossi going down. And TY, has he done it? Has he come back here? But these disruptor shots are massive here as Parting attempts to attack from 2 places at once. But these siege tanks holding strong. TY's arc here, as once again he's going to try to get something done. Sieging up now with 4 siege tanks instead of the 2 earlier. And I like TY's position, but again, the longer this lasts, the better it is for Parting. And TY really has the impetus, the requirement to get more damage done here as this disruptor shot. Oh, that's a massive one, man. Parting equalizing the game just about now. Another one coming in, but this one should not get anything done as TY attempts to target down the 3rd base. The Parting going in for a massive flank. These tanks will be targeted down immediately with the splash damage of these Archons, and these disruptor shots doing tremendous work now as TY tries and fails to really take advantage of the momentum here, and Parting primed to take game number 1 here, up 60 supply, up 20 army supply. And what more can TY do here? Parting up 2 were upgrades as well. Yeah, that fight happened on 3 fronts at once. I was doing my best to track it. So yeah. So now we have TY in his last-ditch effort with his paltry army down 20 army supply, down 2 upgrades, says, look, you know what? If I cannot hold with just that, I'm going to hold with SCV pulls, but disruptors are great for that. And the continuous disruptor balls moving in, just targeting down the SCVs more than anything else. Stalkers blinking and say, you know what? I don't care about your liberators. They are going down here, and Parting taking game number 1 in style, as he takes Well, he takes map number 1. Now, TY, this has happened to him before. Parting has taken a first game, and TY has still taken the series. So, the question now is, will that happen again? Will TY reverse sweep Parting for like the 3rd time in a significant tournament that I have seen? I mean, TY, you're right. TY has been a big innovator because, you know, again, of course, TY and Special are friends. They innovate builds together, all that jazz. TY has been making mech work against Protoss. He's been like the only player that does it. Special tried against Stats in the GSL Season 1, and it looked like he was going to do it, and TY and Stats just said, you know what, I'm going to flank you, and you're going to die. So that'd be really interesting to see here. Maybe mix things up a little. But hey, again, if it ain't broke, why fix it? As we are at the very edge of our first player potentially being knocked out of this tournament in the round of 16. And it will be either TY or Parting at the end of the series regardless. And if you told me that TY or Parting were not going to get past the round of 16, well, I don't know what I would have bet you, but it would have been a lot, and I would have lost that bet because that's the situation we are now. Mech vs. Protoss is just a really cool thing. And it's not something we see all that often, so it's really exciting whenever it does happen. And it was definitely the standard in Brood War. Not that I really ever watched Brood War. I came into the scene like 2013. Anyway, we have game number 2. Let's get on into it. Here we go. Spawning in the upper right. In the red, up 1-0. It is Parting. And in the bottom left, in the blue, his very life on the line here in this tournament, it is TY. And with response, so this tournament thus far, Patience beat TY 2-0. Armani beat Parting 2-1. Armani then 2-0 Patience, which means Patience is waiting for the winner of this game. So that, Armani got out in first place in this group, which is insane to me, by the way. I know people cry Zergambo, whatever, but man, it was a fast winners bracket series. Patience went for Cannon Rush game 1 and just got slapped aside. All the drones were pulled. Pylons were killed. The wall was not done as well as it could have, and the Cannon Rush failed. Patience just GG'd out of there. Game 2 was a Link Flood on Submarine, and that's just a really good build. The 20 build Link Flood. If you don't scout it, you're just going to die. Patience has patience. Exactly, Big Imp. Patience has patience. As we do have a scout coming in from here from TY. Now, I say this is a scout, but TY did go for a Marauder Rush in this game, in the Patience game. However, it didn't really work. It was scouted, but it was on this map as well. So I gotta imagine Parting was watching these games on probably on the Korean stream. But he would have seen that, so it makes sense that TY doesn't go for something here. So he just goes for your standard Reaper expand. Parting just doing whatever he can to try to delay the expansion as much as he can, because there's always the chance he can move across the map with an Adept or something and just heavily delay things. But that may or may not happen in this game. We do have the Adept on the way, though, and it really should not get there in time. Again, this is the biggest map in the pool, 16 bases, large amounts of chokes. We get really awesome long games on this map, so I'm hoping we get something like that here. But that being said, looks like Parting has other plans as he prepares to proxy a Stargate. Rather close to TY's base, and this is not, actually, this is not the fastest possible Stargate, but it's pretty daggone fast. As it should put a Oracle into the mineral line of TY at around 3:30. When you have what's that? You have 8 Marines maybe if you're doing things. Hey now, Parting has large Colossi, and he has the biggest sentries. So, actually, this Adept's going to go in, and well, the CC will be canceled for just half a second, as there is a second SCV already there, and this Adept actually will get killed. I'm not sure that trade is worth it. 1 SCV and like half a second of command center build time for the Adept. Yes or no? Not the biggest ideal, not the biggest of deals either way. But we do have this Stargate now on the way. And TY, the suspicious man that he is, will go and scout it. he will go, and he will see that there is in fact a Stargate, and he will see it just as the Oracle is completing. So he's going to know what it is. You can go and see that the Oracle is building. One of the few buildings that allow you to do that, which is pretty cool. But he will know, and he will be prepared. So this one Hellion, TY almost wanting to show that he wants Parting to be afraid of the builds he went for the GSL last night, even if he is not going for it. But actually, this Oracle's going to waste its energy. Knows his scout is like, I'm not really going to get anything done here. There's probably going to be Cyclone, probably going to be Marines. If there's a Viking, I'm going to try to see whether I can at least do damage to this Hellion. Maybe kill it off, but was not able to kill it off here. And now the Oracle's just going to run away, as there is not a lot he can do here. And actually, he's going to get a lock on, but the lock on's not even going to take all of the shields off. So we do have Phoenix behind this. So it looks like Parting maybe wants to go to Phoenix, Colossus behind this, but with the Cyclone, with the Marines coming out, we're gonna get at most to what's the word? Most to Phoenix coming out of this here. And with that, well, yeah, this Phoenix is gonna have to be canceled. And Parting's goals of going mass Phoenix in this game, well, they are in the dumpster here, as TY taking a rather nice tempo lead in this game number 2. What Parting wanted to do in this game was not allowed to happen. Even as he does shave off a couple Marines with his Viking, but now that with his Oracle, but now with the Viking here, this Oracle will go down, and that's not as disastrous as if when you lose your Oracle in a ZVP or in a PVZ, but it's not great. Oracles have utility throughout the entirety of the game. So now we do have TY ready to move across the map here. As we have Marines, we have actually an SCV, so it looks like we're going to get a bunker push out of this with a couple siege tanks. TY really just going on the aggressive. He says, look, you know what? I don't want this game to go late. Whether that's he's tired. It's evening, I think, in Korea right now. This is timing. No, it's mid-afternoon. Yeah, because this is around the time the GSL does on the Western favored time slot. But I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't feel. He apparently, according to him at least, Parting has absolutely fixed his late game. So this is maybe something he's just afraid of. But now Parting is going to smash this push. Although, okay, that one tank will be. The tanks will be lifted for the entirety of this now with only one tank there, and none of them sieged. Well, he's got to have a lot easier of hold this time, even as he's down slightly in army supply now. TY is going to siege up the third base. The tank's going to siege up once again, and this Phoenix will go down, which means it's not as nice, but now with a Colossus here, it's a little easier now for Parting to make this hold, as the Zealots are going to try to connect with the tank, but they're not quite able to do so yet. And this is a pretty nice trade for TY here, even as it does get cleaned up. But that being said, Parting has a third base. Third base is only halfway done for TY. So now the question is, what is TY's next move? Stim is halfway done. Combat shield should finish just around the same way. And Parting, he's going into his standard style. Now there is no blink here. This was a Stargate opener that failed miserably. So that is something that we can have, that can be say is going well for TY here. He's actually almost even on workers with Parting. Parting's only up 4 workers, considering Protoss has Chrono Boost. Protoss has a third that much faster. That's really good for the Terran here, as the rule of thumb is until you get to 3 to 4 bases, the Protoss never wants to be even on upgrades with the Terran. They always want to be rather ahead. So now we do have a drop coming in from TY here. Just will go absolutely undetected here up until the very last minute from Parting. That's a voice line. That's a voice line. Anyway, Parting will now go into position with his Stalkers, although Blink is... Actually, he's not even going Blink first. He's going Charge first. And it's just going to look to build a rather powerful army that will be able to contest the aggression that he expects to come from TY here. As TY, he's taking his third base at 8 minutes. So we have the drop, just sharking around, trying to see if he can get the Observer. Observer will run out of the way. Even with the nerf that... because Terrans were disappointed that Observers would get away so often, so their speed was nerfed a little bit. Even with that nerf, the Observer gets away here, and I guess this Terran TY, this TY Terran, will just have to be frustrated as he looks to move into the mid game now. Parting taking his 4th base. Again, the rule of thumb in PvT at this point in this meta is you want to be about 1 base ahead. You want to be 1 base ahead of your opponent, maybe even 2, as we saw what Patience did to TY in that first match of the day. Now, TY, again, he's macroing up. He does have pretty equivalent army to his Protoss opponent here, finding himself massively in the economy lead just for a bit as mules were dropped. And, well, mules are good units, so that's all we have to say about that one. As charge is just about done, +1 halfway done, and we're looking at moving into the mid game here. It looks like Parting's second splash damage of choice will be Storm, as the Templar Archives is just about done here. And really, the goal always when you're looking at PvTs, you don't want to be stuck on one splash. You want 2 or 3, just because it's so easy for a Terran to hard counter. You get 8. You get what is it? 4 Vikings per Colossus, and the Colossus really do not stay in the air all that long, or on the ground, I guess. You get EMPs, and it's much harder for a Templar to exist. You get Liberators, it's much harder for Disruptor. But if you can get all 3, that forces a army complexity from the Terran that is not always easy to do. That being said, we see no Storm being researched. And actually, this seems to be a mistake from Parting here, as he is warping in High Templars into the game to accrue energy. Which means that he is wanting to go into Storm here. And Storm is not done. Storm is not on the way. So that could end up being rather unfortunate. What is with this lighting? These Stalkers just are not lit. Anyway. A Scout's going to go in, going to be lit up by the combined force of the Terran Armed Forces, as they just make sure that they have absolute control of this map. And this is the map I've been excited to see, right? This is the game I've been excited to see, because TY showed an absolute dominance in late game TVP in GSL Season 1. Season 2, we didn't get to see it. Parting, supposedly, according to the interview last night, has absolutely fixed his late game PvT. He's gotten a lot better at it, and it is something that TY respects, at the very least, even if he's not afraid of it. Yes, exactly. We're gonna get High Templar that can attack, as this High Templar still sitting here, accruing, getting ready to drop 2 Storms, but no Storm is on the way. Again, I'm sitting here at this point. This has got to be a mistake from Parting. This is not him reallocating resources to a different part so he can hit a timing or be more safe. No, this has got to be a mistake. But now, we do have a 5th base on the way from Parting as TY establishes his 4th base, and we are getting into the late game. And that's when things get fuzzy. When players are attacking, when players are commanding 2 armies at once, when run-bys are everywhere, when we have massive amounts of blink DTs, large amounts of charge lots, and it's when it gets really fun. I don't have a healthy mental. Well, I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm casting StarCraft. How could I help but having healthy mental? As TY looks to go in and gets the Dorito cannon on everything whatsoever. Now TY forcing Parting out of position, or forcing Parting out of position here, and that is what this High Templar was for. This one High Templar was just here to feed back the medevacs of Parting, maybe feed back some ghosts, and that was the next level play here. But meanwhile, this is a massive counterattack moving into the main base of TY, getting 15 SCVs, and that, you know, TY not able to move into to really pressure any the soft underbelly of his Protoss opponent. Because that means Parting's able to get a lot of damage on, and this Disruptor Ball going in is going to be able to get a good one. The Vikings just sitting on top of things, these Colossi going down, but this still seems like it's a good trade for Parting, even as the Vikings are able to get the Colossi, but the Vikings aren't even able to get all of them, and they just sit on top of the Archons here. And that is the absolute worst case scenario here, and only 3 Vikings left, the Stalkers able to chase them down. TY taking a really suboptimal fight, and now we're sitting with Parting up 20 army supply and 30 army supply overall, but TY with the move command here. And it's looking dicey, but Parting is still able to push through, now up 40 army supply. And what can TY do here? He doesn't have the economy, he doesn't have the army. And sure, he has Liberators, and Liberators are scary things, and Parting just does not have the Stalker count to really deal with this. There's no Warp Prism as the way yet. Warp Prism there yet. So really it's just reinforcements. Well, you know, these Disruptor Balls are here. We have massive amounts of charge lots on the way, and Parting just content to rally across the map. Where is it? Does he have a Warp Prism? Parting with a Warp Prism. Where is it? Warp Prism not even there. It appears that Parting has forgotten it here, and that makes life a little bit harder. But the 3rd base getting targeted down. Luckily for TY, there is nothing that can shoot up, as they just continuous Disruptor shots rain into Parting, as he just forced him to go back, and now Parting blinking onto the command center, targeting it down once again. And the 3rd base will, in fact, go down here. But the disruptor balls going in as TY attempts to target them down. But this may be an 80 army supply to 30, and most of it is medevacs. TY going for some really fancy pickup micro, but that is not enough. And Parting 2-0ing TY, moving on to the final match. Well, Parting gets his revenge. What can I say? No, the Zealots are not a mistake from Parting. The lack of a storm is a mistake from Parting. Although, you know, it ended up working out. So now we have our final match. It's going to be a PvP. We're going to have Patience versus Parting, and I'm excited to see what Parting has to throw here because, man, you want to talk about volatile matchups. While PvP has stabilized in this meta, well, the most recent, well, not I guess the second most recent patch that introduced shield battery overcharge has meant it's not just proxy robo everywhere. TY is not knocked out. This is not... No, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for TY, the results of this tournament do not mean that Parting gets to play stats in the GSL. And yes, I have to imagine that TY is saving strats just a little because he plays stats in a best of 7 in a week. No, Melky? I'm not really sure. That's not mean. I'm not offended by that whatsoever. I'm just laughing. And I can understand it. I'm sitting here at 12:30 in the morning, unpaid, just because I enjoy it. And this is, again, as I say, I'm unpaid. This is not me sitting here trying to say ITaX is some terrible organization. I am so glad that they've invited me to do this tournament. This is something I enjoy, and I'm glad I can bring it to you. So this is no way, shape, or form saying ITaX is saying something bad about them or into the clan in any way. I'm sitting here at 12:30 in the morning, unpaid, shouting my voice raw about these exciting games that are happening between Patience and Armani and TY and Parting, because it's fun, because I love talking about the game, I love learning about the game, I love interacting with all of you, seeing what you have to say, telling me when I'm wrong, telling me when I'm right, most likely telling me when I'm wrong, because that's how it's oh, what's the law? There's a law that effectively states that if you want to find an answer on the internet, the correct response is to not ask a question. It's to make an incorrect assertion. It is to say that the world is in fact flat when you're looking at, and it is, or the world has a circumference of 2,000 miles. When you actually know it's about 3,500 miles diameter. Now, I should remember that from my orbital mechanics class. No, Big Imp, I will not travel. I have enough furniture to assemble. I'm moving Tuesday across the country to start my PhD in New Hampshire, and that's like a 3,000-mile trip. I have enough furniture assembly in my future. Now, if you had me come to your house, assemble your furniture, and then let me cast some StarCraft, well, that's a different story. So, you know, you see what I'm getting here? You go do that. So now we're sitting here. We have both Patience and Parting in the group, as I believe they're going through. Yeah, they're going through map beaters right now. Unfortunately, I don't speak Korean, so I'm not that good. I cannot tell you what they're saying as they banter and hang around in the lobby. But I do know vetoes are happening, and I can't even tell you what they're vetoing because they know the map names in Korean. Yeah, Big Imp. PhD in mechanical engineering with a focus in robotics. I'm either going to be working on space robotics. It depends, because the professor that I really want to work with, she was the assistant dean, or she was the interim dean for a while, so she missed out on funding opportunities. So I'm either going to be working on space robotics with her if she can get some funding in, or maybe in the future, or I'm going to be working on a 2-armed robot for this really cool surgical technique to repair a, what is it, the C10, I think, in the spine. So, now, yeah, no, I honestly, if you look at the matchups right now, if you look at the stats, if we want to get statistically here, Terran is favored against Zerg at the Grandmaster level, looking at SC2 replay stats. But again, this is pro level, so even Grandmaster isn't really a valid argument. But really, if you look at it, I mean, look, we have the golden trifecta in the GSR round of 4. There will always be 2 races in one of the other. They're just that's unavoidable, right? It's 4 places. So we have 2 Zergs, a Protoss, and a Terran. Last time we had 4 Terrans. So, well, no, 3 Terrans and a Protoss, and it was a final was TBT. Yes, Stats is definitely Protoss, and Stats is an awesome Protoss. Stats is a lot of fun to watch. He plays the game just so differently from everyone else. He just plays so solid and reactively that, well, what are you going to do about it, right? You go and you try to break him, and it fails, and he forces you to play his style. And I'm so glad that the meta has shifted around to allow him. Is the bracket updated in terms of results? I don't know. If you have a question about results, I'm more than happy to tell you. Is the bracket updated in terms of who's playing, like who's in the group? Yeah, that's updated. So the way this night has gone thus far, we had TY versus Patience, game 1. Patience 2-0 TY. TY went for a 2 base all-in that failed, tried to go into macro. Didn't really work. Game 2, he went for a proxy marauder, concussive shell, didn't work. Match number 2, it was Armani versus Parting. That was a great series, went to 3 games. Armani taking game 3 in style. Then we had Armani versus Patience in the winners final, where Armani won game 1 off of holding a cannon rush, game 2 off of a link flood and submarine. And then we had TY Parting in this last series, where Parting won 2-0, and now we're moving into Parting versus Patience to determine who gets out of the group. So, we have our final map. Let's get into it. Final match. We have 3 maps. It's fine. So here we are, spawning in the upper right. In the red, for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Parting. And in the bottom left, in the blue, showcasing Patience as he waited for this final series, it is Patience for Team LP. I believe that's Lao Pao is the full name. It's a Chinese organization. It's actually really cool to see how the Chinese scene has really embraced StarCraft 2. The Golden Team League. My only sadness is it's really hard for the Western scene to cast that, as you actually need a Chinese account that was bought in China that is officially a Chinese account. So that scene, as vibrant as it is, as it's all these cool, he's doing these team leagues, the Golden Pro League, I believe it's changed name, but anyway, all these different things that SC Boy is doing that are awesome. It's really hard, if not impossible, for you and me to watch it, which is rather unfortunate because, I mean, I guess you can maybe watch it on Panda TV or wherever it's casted in Chinese, but again, I prefer to watch my casts in the language I understand. Dano not letting anything slide as I accidentally mouse the screen just slightly. That's awesome. As I nudge the edge of the screen just slightly with my mouse, Dano right on top of there says, "You know what? This caster's terrible. He's a bad observer. He should be ashamed of himself." And you're right, I should. That's unforgivable. But we do have Patience here with a proxy pylon, but this is what I've seen people call, and I like to call, the Schrodinger's pylon. As it's just a matter to say, hey, look, if you're scouting, I only have 1 pylon in my base. I could be proxying. Actually, is it Patience? Is this actually a real proxy? This is Patience's 3rd pylon. This is a fast 3rd pylon. Patience frees it up. And that's rather interesting because I don't know if this is a mistake. I don't know if Patience has plans for this pylon, but he doesn't have a probe here. The LP god himself coming in to defend the honor of Liquipedia. I see it occasionally. Now, you talk about the concussive proxy. I see it occasionally more on when I'm casting lower masters level. I can definitely list one player who I believe is watching right now, or he was watching earlier, who loves that build, but it's not as common at the highest level. Because again, you see what happens. It gets scouted, it just dies. And it was definitely a thing. It's an older build. I believe I've seen it. I saw it. We used to see it in Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void. So Parting's going to be able to find this probe of Patience. He's going to die. He's also going to be able to find this proxy pylon, which I have to question the reasoning for, right? Because he got 2 pylons in his base. What reasoning does he have to get that extra pylon? I don't really. It's weird. because generally what you do there is you go and you have it. Actually, he's gonna be able to get one stalker. Nice. Patience here with the overkill just slightly. He's gonna be able to get one stalker and to get a positive trade. Not the end of the deal, but any advantage you can eke out in games like this is pretty nice. But as to that pylon, it doesn't make any sense. So you're gonna spend 100 extra minerals that you don't need to spend, which is 2 probes, and it's not pulling the wool over anyone's eyes because it doesn't. There are two pylons in the natural. So now we see Parting with his godlike micro. It says, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to be able to snipe one of your stalkers 4-on-4 for free. But now Parting really trying to make things work. And so the trade's not exactly working out now. Parting actually with only 1 stalker now to the 4 of Patience that he was rallying across the map. And this is getting a little bit dicey here. But now we do have an immortal for Parting. So as dicey as I says it is, well, that diciness is no longer there. So now we do have the Adepts trying to get in. Parting on top of things. Says, you know what? No, I have a shield battery. And this is actually one of the cooler innovations, changes that I've seen in PvP. I don't know exactly when this started, but it's definitely the meta now. Where you just put a probe here and you say, hey, no Adepts in my base. But it is very much a skill check. It's like when you used to see foreigners occasionally go to Pro League, and the opponent would just go and cheese them and say, hey, are you good enough to hold? Are you good enough to get into the mid game? So it's like that here where you shave Adepts, and if the opponent makes a mistake, well, you win the game. But it's a really cool, it's an APM sync, but it's just a really cool piece of minutia in the game. Actually, he's going to let these Adepts finish, and these Adepts will go down. But what this does mean is there is no pressure coming from Parting across the map for the moment, as a couple more Adepts go in, and I guess the hope is Parting spending enough time killing these that he's not going to notice the Adepts running into his main base, but that's not even going to happen here. As Parting now looking to get aggressive himself as he loads up a couple sentries into this Warp Prism, as it looks like he wants to force field off the main base. Now we did the 1 Adept gets in, 1 Adept fails, so that's not bad. It's not the end of the world. You don't have the insta kill of probes, and Parting's going to be able to micro away from this a little bit, but he will lose a couple workers here. And now Parting with the Warp Prism and the Stalkers looking to move into the main base to equalize the kind of damage that he took. And the question is whether he can, because he doesn't have the Stalkers with this. He's just able to get the proxy pylon. Now, ooh, I don't like this. Patience actually in position here. But with the Sentry's actually able to make it so the Immortals take pretty much 0 damage. That was interesting particle effects. Now, Patience microing here, and actually microing excellently. As he's going to lose 2 Stalkers, but trade that for a Sentry. And that's fine, but behind this, looks like the second Adept was able to get in and get a couple more workers. To a grand total of 6 probes killed in this game. And Pearson finds himself up 3 workers. Not the biggest, or not bad, I should say, as this is a mirror matchup. And what that means is, okay, worker differentials in non-mirrors. They're expected. Zerg is going to have a lot more workers than a Protoss, than a Terran. Protoss is going to have more workers than a Terran in most matchups. Things like that. That's fine. We do have a hallucinated Phoenix coming in here. We'll confirm that there's something researching, see a couple gates. Tell him stuff he probably didn't already know, but it just confirms it. But anyway, this is a mirror matchup, and that means that both players can build the same things, can have the same units, have the same potential for an economy. So any sort of worker leads, worker deficit is so much more impactful in a mirror matchup than it is in any other matchup in this game. That being said, Parting is not out of this in the slightest. He actually does find himself up for army supply. The worker supply is now finally equalizing as both players just get prepared to take a 3rd base. Patience will scout this. It does not appear that Parting has any idea that Patience wants to take his 3rd as well. But we do have a double Immortal drop coming in from Patience looking to get some extra damage on top of this. I'll take no balance whining in my chat. We are here to appreciate the excellent plays that these players happen. And and remember, unless you're looking at a League of Life, balance doesn't even matter all that much because it has stats that aren't the top players. But now we do have a double Immortal drop, and actually Parting is not a great situation here. That is a massive Artosis pylon. +1 will be stalled out for quite a while, and these 3 Stalkers not really going to be able to get a lot. I'm surprised Patience waited as long as he did, or picked up as early as he did. And man, Blink is stalled here too. This is a massive thing. Okay, that was a League of Life. But anyways, no balance whining in my chat. We're here for great games. So we do have Parting getting ready to move across the map here. And Blink is now done So Parting does want to get some aggression on, but he finds himself down an army supply. So even as he's down a base, well, down income just a little. He's down 4 army supply. Sure, there's a blink, and there's blink off on both sides. So this is actually, he finds that both Immortals in a less than auspicious position. And with these disruptions here, it looks like Patience is prime to force Parting back, and in doing so, take game number 1. But Parting, with excellent force fields, is going to be able to move Patience off the map here and just target down the third base. Question is, will he be able to get it? And if he gets it, will it be worth the cost? Parting actually really showcasing excellent blink micro here, showing what has made him so famous in the first place, made him so skilled, and now Patience going forward, and the blink will get out. Parting doing an excellent job here, canceling the third base, taking minimal damage from these disruptors. Patience actually blinking will be able to get the Warp Prism, and this disruptor shot is only going to be able to get 2 Stalkers, so Parting, well, one thing I will say for Patience here, Parting doing a good job, did get the third. That being said, the power units that Patience has are still alive. Patience is going to blink forward, but he's going to lose both disruptors. And I'm talking about power units. Power units sniped down. I believe there are still 2 Immortals for Patience though. Parting, oh man, Parting catching him on a mood position. He's going to be able to get all 3 sentries as well. And Parting just trading really well. Parting that attack didn't look all that great. That first hit was not incredible. However, it's good enough. And actually, these 2 Immortals were dropped in. And these 2 Immortals actually, once again, depowering things. But the Blink Stalkers are going to be able to go in. They're going to be able to target the Warp Prism down, or at least kill these Immortals. So, actually, the Immortals standing strong. As there are just barely enough Stalkers. So the Stalker's going to keep targeting it. And the Immortal gets out. Wow, that well done by Patience there. Way to salvage, and not a great situation. Parting, once again, is going to go in. Going to try to see if they can snipe this third base, but there's enough of it done. And actually, oh, Parting. Oh, my goodness. Wow. You know, I could be casting this. I could be all analytical, but I'm just going to sit here and bask in the awe of Parting's micro here. As he snipes the Disruptor, blinks left just in case the Disruptor ball goes off, and just continues to trade so incredibly efficiently. Hey, there is no GSL Twitch chat anymore. It's now GSL YouTube chat. Please respect the platforms. So now we're Parting, moving in once again. Arming is not all that good. Man, I can see him blinking on top of this Immortal, but probably not. He would lose his entire army. Not all that the best. Remember, we are all StarCraft Reddit GMs in chat. I'm not going to actually tell you my MMR. Just assume I'm incredible, amazing. As Parting moves around once again, sharking around, trying to see if he can cut off the main from the natural, get any sort of damage he can done. Patience, however, going for that counterattack, says, you know what? If the majority of your army is going to sit across the map, well, that means not a lot of it is at home. And he would be correct, as it's really just a couple disruptors here, ready to defend any sort of counter pressure. Actually, Patience is going to warp in on the other side of the map, but Parting going to just blink in, going to be able to can't kill those 2 gates. But now Parting, is this the position you want to be in? Parting, are you going to be able to? Parting gets out, blink cooldown coming off just in time. And as well as Parting has been trading, 1,000 resources better. Hey, you know what? I miss Tankovax. But anyway, Parting, as he has been trading so much better, surprisingly enough, and he has a better worker count, his supply is not all that much higher, but I guess that's because he's taken a 4th, he's probed up behind this, he's getting additional tech, and actually, he has +2 just about done, and +1 is not even started for Patience. So that is a massive timing error. Parting, potentially, going on a +1 upgrade advantage, maybe even going +2. But when you're looking at Stalkers trading, when you're looking at the same units trading over again, man, upgrades are even more important. Now, sure, it's not the Marine situation here, but now Parting is actually in a great position to trade here, as he, well, not blinking the best, and there is actually a 2 Adept Warpman. It's killing a couple probes here on the third base of Parting, but the important thing here is the fight with the main armies, as Parting just shaving things off, Patience blinking forward, doing what he can to try to take care of things, and now Patience, well, he's down to work. He's up 2 workers, but he's down an army split. I'm not really sure if he can continue this chase, as we do now have DTs being warped in for Patience here. He's going to look to drop them into the main base. But again, the question now is, what is Parting going to be able to do? He has enough to fight the main army of Patience with good micro. He has 4 Stalkers into the third base of Patience. He's actually going to force a recall. And now DTs running into the natural. One into the main as well. Now Stalkers are going to go in, but there is no detection. There are no cannons here. Parting, you need detection. Now there is, of course, a observer on the way, but that observer will not get there in time, as 5 workers will go down. But 5 workers did go down for Patience as well, so this is a roughly even trade. And Parting just evacuates his 4th base. But now with the copious amounts of... How many disruptors do we have? With the 4 disruptors that Parting has, he's going to try to body block. Oh, good job. He body blocks the DT. And kills it. So, again, Parting, the god. So now we do have 2 disruptors for Patience, 4 disruptors for Parting. And Parting just with a massive army supply lead. In all honesty, the upgrade lead. He will... And there is an... Wow. Parting has an opening where he's going to be up 2 upgrades. And sure, PvP is a lot like TVT, where there is definitely an opportunity where it's really hard to push in when there are disruptors because they do lots of AoE damage and they can blow up your army. Doesn't matter what your supply lead is. There's still an opening here, and actually it looks like we're almost moving into a base trade situation here as Patience finding Parting's army out of position. Parting just contends to say, you know what, your army's out of position, I'm going to go kill you. Now this DT is in a good position here. And, oh, that Parting, that last second blink, my goodness. He is on point with these blinks today. He's going to be able to kill both of these disruptors. And now the question is, what is he going to be able to do to win this base trade? Now he is up 30 army supply, and that is good. But Patience was able to get onto his base a whole lot faster. And now Patience backing up. I can't but help but think that that's a mistake here, as Parting's going to be able to kill his base, right? You want to go for the base trade here. That's what Patience is asking for. But now it is Parting losing workers, but not losing his base. And, well, actually, he's losing a lot of workers here. These DTs moving, and these DTs will be able to kill, able to eviscerate this mineral line. Parting's probably going to go down to 30 workers here. But now, Patience going in. Patience not really paying attention. Those disruptor shots are massive! But one getting a disruptor shot in return, and Parting forced to return. And now Parting on 29 workers, and sure, he's missing a base. Sure, he's up a base on bases, but that doesn't matter if the income is there for Patience. But now we're seeing that situation where Parting is up 2 upgrades, and I want Parting just blink on top of this. Parting with the massive upgrade lead. Just blink on top. There we go. Blinks on top. He's going to be able to kill the army. But that disruptor shot is massive. Parting did not account for that. And what will he be able to do as he moves forward? You know, and I talk about this, and as good as it looks for Patience, as these shots have been, it's plus 2 upgrades. It is plus 50 army supply, and Parting moving in once again. Actually, wow. That DT has killed the 4th base of Parting. But that is... I gotta imagine it's inconsequential, as we are plus 50 army supply here. Parting's gonna be able to kill the 4th base of our blue pro players. Patience gonna blink in once again, but does he just have enough? Does he have enough to be able to come back? I don't believe he does. Patience blinking for his life, but there we have it. Parting blink forward, and GG. Parting taking game number 1 in this final series. Now Patience's life is on the line. Will he be able to hold? I don't know. You don't know. Will he be able... I shouldn't say hold. The game is over. He was not able to hold. Will he be able to come back? Will he be able to strike back in this game number 2? Show his fortitude. Show his patience. And really take it to the H match. Maybe even qualify second out of his group. I don't know. I'm excited to find out, though, because map number 2 will be on Everdream. And Everdream is a bit smaller of a map. Maybe there's something Patience can do that he was not able to do on Ice and Chrome. Maybe he feels a little bit more comfortable in a shorter game than he does in a longer game. I don't know. Again, Patience not really with the visibility that Parting has shown. And sure, they're both playing for Chinese teams. Sure, they both play in the Chinese... what is it? The GPL, I think? Something like that. Sure, they do that. Right? But I have not seen Patience play nearly as much. I don't see him in the online cups. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. I don't see it. He gets knocked out. He gets knocked out or doesn't even qualify for the GSL. So I don't know what to expect from him. I don't know much about his playstyle right now. We just know Parting likes to twist certain things that I'm not going to say on stream. if you want him talking about that, well, I believe he's streaming these games as well. But let's see what he's going to be able to do. Oh. Okay. Apparently this was the wrong map or the wrong server or something like that, so we're remaking. Parting twists at my heart because his play is so sexy. I'm in love. Twists at my heartstrings. Alright, so it looks like there was some issue with the server, I gotta imagine, as we're going back in Everdream for game number 2. And yeah, I guess we just weren't on the right server. So we are back onto Korea. Or maybe the match, maybe there was a match history thing. I don't know. there we go. The countdown has commenced once again. I got you all excited. I said there was a countdown. You heard it in my ear. We even got into a game. I was really excited too. I could not wait to see what was going to happen in game number 2. But now, I'm not lying this time. Game number 2 is now loading up, and Patience's life is on the line. Will he be able to come back? Will he be able to take it to an ace match, or will Parting advance 2-0 in this Group C of the Into the Alpha X Pro Series? Let's find out, because here we are, and let's introduce our players. And spawning in the upper right, in the red for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, on the cusp of qualifying out, it is Parting. And in the bottom left, in the blue for Team Lao Pao, it is Patience. His life on the line. His gumption, his will tested, his patience at wit's end. Will he be able to bring it back in this game number 2? I don't know. I'm excited to find out. And yes, Cynicus me, I betrayed you. I lied to you. So you should subscribe to this channel to really show me how bad you feel. Support the Alpha X. Support the stuff that they are doing. Use the Matcherino code. Buy the replay pack. Do all of these things to really get back at me and show me how much you don't like the fact that I lied to you for game number 2. How about that? Oh, I got it. Yes! I'm so excited. I couldn't even remember whether I had the name correct. I'm glad. I'm so happy that I got it right. LP God, thank you. I appreciate that little bit of validation in my day as we're sitting here on the potentially final game of the night. So, as I talk about the final game of the night, now we do have Patience going for a real proxy here. This is not a fake pylon that he looks to maybe do something else. This is, in fact, well, he's going to put something here, probably a Stargate, because that's what these things tend to be. And he's actually going to get 2 pylons in the main this time. So Parting will not really know that there is a proxy here, because again, it's 2 pylons. However, Parting did scout out that there was that weird pylon here in map number 1. So maybe he'll expect something. Yes, I'm on the West Coast. Well, I'm on the West Coast for another 4 days. I'm moving to New Hampshire on the East Coast to start my PhD on Tuesday. But currently I'm in Arizona, so that's not quite the West Coast, but it's on West Coast time, Pacific PDT. But anyway, so we have a proxy robo here coming from Patience, not a Stargate, as he looks to go back to that meta. Oh, you're in Boston. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to be driving through Boston. Hey. Necron, I'm still not coming over to build your couch. But anyway, so we do have Parting's probe just being annoying, but it will be killed, and Parting has not seen the fact that this is a proxy. And more importantly, man, Patience is doing a good job at selling this. He has the low ground pylon. Everything looks like this is just going to be a standard expand build from Patience here. My dissertation, it's going to be either on... So I'm in a bit weird situation where my research professor... Yeah, no, I play Zerg at Master's 3 level. So my research professor is either going to be I'm either going to be working with one person working on novel research technique or surgical techniques with a 2-armed robot for unreachable portions of the spine, or I'm going to be working on space robotics. Oh, T-Tors. So the goal is to work on the space robotics, but the advisor does not have a ton of funding at the moment because they were assistant dean for a while, or interim dean. But anyway, we do have Patience going in. He's going to catch the Stalker's Parting, and that's really nice because every Stalker matters here, as this is not a 2-base expand build. This is, in fact, a proxy robo. And we do have a Warp Prism first on the way here, and now Parting's going to have to micro his heart out as he looks to hold it here. And the Oracle is moving across the map, so Patience is not going to have much of an economy. But does that really matter if he has the army to beat Partings? Yeah, Necron, if you want some coaching, I'm more than happy to take a look at things, but there are far better players than I am. I'm only in Masters. I'm only Masters 3. But anyway, we do have... Okay, so this is... Oh, he's going to force field off the main. Wow, Patience with the Chad plays here as he looks to force field off the main. Forces a total recall, but now he's just going to be able to jump into the natural. And just be able to kill the natural base here. But meanwhile, we do have the Oracle from Parting moving in, and this is undefended. Sure, there is a shield batter here, but that's not... Actually, Parting's not even going to try to kill that. He's just going to get a massive stasis ward, and there is no economy here from Patience. Patience now has to do whatever he can with the army he has available, only mining 300 resources a minute. And yeah, there we go. Patience is in a good spot. Where's the Immortal? Oh, Immortal finally making its way into the main base of Parting. And this Oracle, man, my God. Okay, so the Stasis Sword is down now, and the Oracle is just going to do it again? The probe's absolutely pulled, so there's nothing. Patience has no income whatsoever, so this Oracle is going to do it again, and he's still going to get some. He's still, despite the probe pull, he's going to get some Parting with that God-level APM, the God-level micro, able to do things. And meanwhile, he's not letting him in. There are just enough, so he's warping his sentries one at a time and say, you cannot get in. I have 4 shield batteries. Patience, you have no business getting into my base here. And Patience just, he's not able to mine. Not able to mine efficiently. But despite that, Patience doing a good job. And Patience up double the army supply of Parting. Despite the economic damage that Parting has done here, I am really worried for Parting in this game. Number 2, Parting micro, or Patience microing his hard as well. The Immortal is not dying, and there's a second one here too. Great force fields here, and the photon, or the shield battery overcharge is now down. Now Parting once again trying to get what he can get done, but really not able to get a lot. And now Patience in the main base. The army supply lead is not nearly what it was, and now with the probe surrounding it, looks like Parting is maybe beginning to mount a hold here. But it's still a dicey. Parting now down on 17 workers as he really, he just doesn't have, as he's having to pull all his workers, and does not have the income as well. Now Parting now looking to target down, but the warp present micro is too damn good. Patience, are you doing it? Are you able to get what you want to do here? Parting not paying attention. And actually it looks like Patience was able to target down the stasis trap here. And what is Patience is just backing up. I do not have a cough. I have been socially distancing in Arizona for the last... I have not gone outside. But the nice thing about moving to the Northeast is there were like 6 new cases of COVID in New Hampshire yesterday. So I'm going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks, which conveniently is the 2 weeks of the DreamHack Fall Qualifiers. Or one of those weeks is going to be the DreamHack Fall Qualifiers. So I'm just going to be able to sit in my new apartment and cast StarCraft on twitch.tv/Beowulf. Just going to give myself a plug. And cast all the DreamHack stuff. So that's really exciting. I just get to spend a little bit of time before my PhD starts in earnest. But that's all about that future plans for the moment, as we do have Parting moving across the map, trying to get some counter damage done. And he is up 1 army supply. Actually, Patience is going to recall the Immortal, and now with 3 Immortals here. Oh, only 2 Immortals. 1 Immortal must have died that I missed. Parting now going to blink in, and Parting with Blink is always a scary force. There are no shield batteries. There's only 1 shield battery. Now the shield battery overcharge is here, and the questions will be Patience be able to hold. Man, this Oracle going to be able to get the Stasis Ward, and he gets all the Stalkers. He gets 3 of the Stalkers. There's only 1 left. Parting, are you going to be able to do this? My God. Is this it? Parting, have you done it? Parting, have you done enough? And it looks like he has, as Patience able to kill more and more, but now the 2 Stalkers and Immortal. Parting has no workers, and Parting will tap out Patience. Parting making game, but Patience taking us to game number 3. Thank you, Bring TP. I'm not going to be in Boston. I'm going to be 2 hours north in Hanover, at Dartmouth. A little bit smaller. I'm just excited to live in a place with seasons and snow and rain. I come from the East Coast, so Arizona, the lack of things, makes me a little sad. But do you know what does not make me sad? Game number 3. I was worried. It looked like Parting had the hold. It looks like he was just going to be able to remove all the economy of Patience. And honestly, I really would have preferred him just to kill all the workers. I think that was the play. But Parting is Parting is an infinitely better player than I am. So who am I to judge his wisdom? And we're moving to game number 3. Patience taking it to Parting here. And this is the last game of the night. Winner moves on. Loser goes home. And we've had 2 really good games. PvP, for a while there, just wasn't all that great. PvP, just a proxy meta, not all that's exciting. But with this patch, man, we have seen some awesome PvPs. We saw Neve Estrella in the DreamHack Summer Finals. We've seen this series. I went and I even, like, if you look at the tier 1.5, tier 2 players, Nina versus Disc in a top tier practice cup I cast a couple weeks back. That went to 5 games. It was incredible. It was back and forth. It was all over the place. PvP is rapidly turning into a really cool mirror. And I'm actually not... Some people will argue ZVP is not all that great because Zerg is favored. That is interesting. It shouldn't be that way. I don't have it set like that. But it's possible. But I can just not talk during the transition because that's a good thing too. Especially because I'm working on making an even fancier intro that has sound and things like that, and I really shouldn't talk over that. But anyway, we have game number 3. Let us get into it. And here we are, spawning in the upper left with the fastest scout possible, or maybe for a proxy. It is Parting. And in the bottom right, in the blue, for Team Lao Pao, it is Patience. We'll ignore that bad pin. It's fine. Because what's less important is than my ability to zoom in on next side correctly, which is lacking, is the ability of these two players to play incredible games, and they have been delivering tonight. So it looks like we do have Parting going for a proxy here, and this, more than anything, this is looking like we're just going to be a proxy gateway. Parting really just took it to the late game both times. He went a Stargate one game. I forget what the other one was. So Parting going with one gate here as he goes for the normal scout timing. There's actually no scout from Patience at all. This is scoutless. And Parting's actually going to be able to block any sort of wall here, which is going to make life a little bit harder. Which is good for him because, again, he is trying to cheese his opponent, although this is only one gate. So behind this, Parting getting 2 gases behind this, and this is kind of like a max backs build. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. So this is almost a max backs build where you build one gate in front and you just do things at home. What is Parting doing? Getting double gas, no cyber core on the way, only one gate. Okay, now we have the cyber core. Rather late. And I'm rather interested in how this game is going. Because this is not a build I've seen in PvP. At least not recently. So now we do have Patience able to establish his wallet as he shoots the probe of Parting out of the base. And Parting moving in with one Zealot. 2 Stalkers are on the way. But it is a Zealot versus nothing. And this is a full wall. Oh no, now it's a full wall. So the Zealot's going to be able to start hitting away at this, but just enough. Zealot cannot quite kill it, just kind of keep it at that 50-odd HP mark. And behind this, Parting going to be able to start a wall of his own and go for a robo. And this is just a... Wait. I'm sorry. This is Bizarro World. Parting going for both a robo and a Stargate. I know there's a reason. Parting is a god tier player. He makes zany builds that do work. But, excuse me? Is he going to cancel one of these? Is he trying to just confuse Patience? What is happening here? Meanwhile, an Adept gets in and gets 4 probes. I'm sorry. I was spending too much time freaking out over the fact that this doesn't make any sense. Is this... Wait, is this the Cripsale? Is this the... So Cripsale was the player that randomly made the round of 4 of the EPT Cup a couple weeks ago and just killed everyone. And it was like, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. Is this the Cripsale build? I did not see enough of his games, so I'm not really sure. But oh, you're right. This is Phoenix Immortal. I think that's what this is. Phoenix Immortal is a really cool style that you see Nina play. I believe you see Cripsale play. Again, I haven't seen a ton of his stuff, but according to chat, that's what you see. And this is a really cool style where the Phoenixes just lift everything that the Immortals don't want to fight. The Immortals kill the rest, and then the Immortals kill whatever the Phoenix aren't lifting. But we do have a couple Stalkers on the way. Yeah, this is what that is. This is so cool. I've seen this like once, and it slapped. That being said, the question is whether Patience is just going to be able to kind of end the game with this, as there's only one Immortal here. But Immortals are really good units, and the Immortal's going to trade rather positively with the 2 Stalkers. And there's probably going to be enough time for Parting to be able to get Hardened Shields up once again. Yeah, there's no warp gate here. This is, and yeah, then it goes into Super Sky Toss late game. I saw Disc Cripsale tilted the hell out of Nina with this. on EPT, and then Disc did the same thing to Nina. In that tournament I casted, like it was the day after the EPT up, so this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's a really cool build. I am so excited that this is what Parting has decided to do in game number 3. Now, Patience, going for a Stargate play too, but actually, man, Parting just dive on top of that. Two Phoenix versus 1. And if he can get that 2 Phoenix lead, that's going to be massive. But it looks like he does not believe he can do so, especially with the damaged Phoenix here. And this it looks like we're going to have probably Phoenix Charge or something like that coming from our Blue Protoss, as it's going to just be Phoenix Immortal coming from Parting, as he just maxes that Phoenix count. But we do actually have a couple of Adepts getting in the main base. Sorry, did not notice that. And getting a lot of workers. So Patience now finding himself a nice 3-worker lead as these Adepts will go out. Meanwhile, there are enough Stalkers here or enough Phoenix here that they will be able to fight things properly. But with the Stalkers on the ground, the Phoenix Mirror, Parting's just going to jump on top of the Phoenix. And in any sort of Phoenix fight in Protoss versus Protoss, whoever wins the Phoenix fight wins the game. That's just kind of how it goes. That being said, shield batteries have changed the math a little here, and I'm not sure quite how it works now, but now Parting moving across the map with 2 Immortals and 3 Phoenix, and this may just be enough. Honestly, Parting with 70 supply, but he can just nullify the entire ground army of Patience here. Now with 4 Phoenix versus 2, is this it? Is this Parting winning the game? I think it is. Honestly, what can Patience do to defend this? He has 4 Stalkers, and he has a couple Phoenix, but man, that's not enough. Now, the Parting microing around going to just be able to target down the Phoenix that are lifting things, and Parting just doing a good job targeting the Stalkers down, and there's nothing there. Parting, have you done it? Okay, 1 Immortal will go down. Parting, are you going to micro? There we go. Parting going to be able to get the other Phoenix here, or not, and the second Immortal is going to go down, so this is just good damage. It's not the end of the game that I thought it was. Patience actually with a really excellent hold here, as he pulls the probes, does what he needs to do. He's continuing to pump that Phoenix, though, and I can't imagine... Oh, no, he's not. Never mind. I read Parting's production, and I saw Patience. Anyway, yeah, we do have DTs on the way now for Patience, and Parting's going to try to dive on top once again, but shield battery overcharges there, and these 2 Phoenix will stay alive. Yeah, well, I mean, when you've been trading this hard... Sure, now Parting actually going for a second Stargate, really doubling down on this Phoenix count. As he does not continue to build Immortals, it looks like he believes his win route, his path to victory here is not Phoenix Immortal, it's just pure Phoenix. And that's pretty cool, because this is a style we used to see all the time in Heart of the Swarm. Phoenix versus Phoenix versus whatever they're doing. This is not something you see all that often in Legacy of the Void. So I'm excited to see how this one works. Okay, we do have more Immortals on the way. Parting just taking the time to really bolster his Phoenix count. And the nice thing about this, with all this pressure he's putting on the map, is Parting can probably safely take a 3rd base rather soon. And Parting just really continuing to get worker damage here, finding himself now at 5 workers with a dominant Phoenix force in this guy's 2 Phoenix at the time. And really, what can Patience... Is Patience ever going to be able to move out of his base? I don't think so. Blink is not even done. Blink is not even getting researched here. So that we have Phoenix on the map, and I guess Patience's play is to maybe try. Okay, so he gets to the last Phoenix, and now Parting's just gonna be able to jump between bases. Now he has the magic Phoenix number, which is 5. It's 3, I believe, where shield battery overcharge does not do enough. Or shield battery does not do enough. Phoenix are just able to kill things, and now Patience, sure, he's going to finally get a Stalker, but what do we have? 7, or he's gonna be able to finally get a Phoenix. 7 Phoenix here. But we do have DTs on the way, and this is maybe part of Patience's chance, but there's an observer right there. What are you going to do, Patience? There is detection. There are multiple shield batteries. Parting knows the only way he loses this game at this point is through some sort of counterattack, so he's put 3 shield batteries in the main, or in the natural. And behind this, it looks like Parting is getting ready to transition out. 8-minute warp gate. It's standard, as he gets a Templar Archives behind this as well. And or Twilight Council, and he looks to maybe do something and just tech switch and catch his opponent totally off guard. 5 gates on the way. So Parting says, you know what? I don't want to stay on these Phoenix anymore. I think they've outlived their welcome. I'm just going to spend them all and kill out your entire economy. Parting now up 12 workers here. Up massively in income here. There was a brief time when Patience was ahead, but not for much longer here. And now the question is, Parting has this advantage. What is he going to do with it? What is he going to do? Charge that Immortal is the play here. And now, the one downside of Phoenix is you cannot cancel the 3rd base. But I almost feel like the 2 Immortals can go across it. How in the world can Patience fight this? He has no blink. Sure, he has blink soon, but even then, he has 1 Archon? 1 Archon and 11 Stalkers versus the terrifying Sky Army that Parting has gone into here. Now, this is where Parting does deviate from the Crypt Sale build. He went into double Stargate Phoenix, and then he only got like one Phoenix from that second Stargate. And instead of going into Sky Toss and just going Mass Carrier, I guess he thinks that he has done enough damage where he can just transition into a Mass Ground Army and kill his opponent. And I would agree. In all honesty, Parting is up massively in this game. He has killed only 13 workers. Sorry, 35 workers. I'm blind. It's fine. It's only 1 a.m. I'm not tired. You're tired. Actually, how could I be tired? This game is awesome. This series has been awesome. This entire group has been really high quality games. Actually, Party's going to be able to get a sentry. So these Phoenix are just doing what Phoenix do best. It's like Muta's in ZVZ or ZVT, where they're not trying to engage the army, at least not yet. They're just sharking around, try to kill all the reinforcements here. And charge is done. There are 3 mortals here. There is no way. There is 0 chance that Patience actually does this. And actually, Parting's just going to lift everything, which means that this Archon is going to go down. And Patience, what hope have you in this game? Number 3. Now, Patience is going to blink forward, try to kill the Phoenixes. But there we have it. Parting taking game number 3, 2-1. And with that, advancing onwards into, I believe we go into bracket play from here. So, that is the end of the group. Parting coming out in second. Armani, of all people, coming out in first. And we saw some incredible games today, especially that last series. Those last 2 series were actually really good. Winners final, it's 2 cheeses, whatever. But some of the latter series we saw here were incredible. I loved casting them. I hope you enjoyed watching them. Thank you so much for showing up. And now that the games are over, I guess I get to plug myself a little. I cast things on my channel as well. On twitch.tv/Beowulf. I'm trying to cast as much as I can. I won't be doing anything for the next 2 weeks because I'm moving to New Hampshire. But other than that, I'm trying to do that more and more. Kind of get back into the groove I was doing 4 or 5 years ago. You can also follow me on Twitter on Twitch or on Beowulf_SC2. Although I don't tweet all that much. Now, if you like what Alpha X is doing here, toss them some money. Use those Mascherino codes. Take a survey. It takes there's a survey quest that asks you about beef jerky. It's 4 questions. Takes no time at all. That gives 50 cents. And anything that happens there contributes to this tournament series. Takes it from $1,300 and it moves it higher and higher and higher, which is always great. Oh, sorry, this is not the this is not the end of group play. This is the end of this group. So right now, groups B and C have happened. Group B happened this morning, and Group C happened right now. Groups A and D, I believe, are coming up soon. So, with that, I would like to thank you all for watching tonight. And if you like what I do, come on, take a look at me on my own channel. I'm probably going to be back here doing stuff too, but, you know, it's a good time. With that being said, I have no more to say. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time it is for you today, for you right now. Reflect on the awesome games we saw. Stay safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Signing off.